the White House, President Eisenhower signs the proclamation that makes Alaska's entry into the Union official, nearly 92 years after Lincoln's Secretary of State bought the territory from the Russian Tsar for $7 million.
The Alaska Wild Project podcast is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Barney's Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. The exclusive home of frontier gear built for the rugged Alaskan terrain. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Visit Barney's today at 906 West Northern Lights.
Arbor Digital, the forefront of digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and wealth management, providing a low-cost, research-based investment strategy for Alaskans looking to invest their hard-earned money. Visit arborcapital.io today to put your money to work.
Tailored Restoration 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Hit them up at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience.
Serrano's Mexican Grill, 2 locations, one on Tudor, one on Northern Lights. The Northern Lights location has their new tequila bar. Check it out. Also see their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
TheTreehouseAK.com, located at 341 Boniface Parkway, Alaska's own and grown cannabis and CBD store. Ask the bud tender what the strain of the day is to get your 10% off. The Treehouse, where the culture lives.
The Connoisseur Lounge, Alaska's premier locally owned and operated cannabis retailer, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. Their cultivated products include Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Super Glue, and much more. Find them at theconnoisseurlounge.net.
AKO Farms, located in Sitka, Alaska, built from the ground up with concentrates as their single motivation, with exclusive products such as their sugar wax, full spectrum diamond sauce carts, and more. Ask your local bud tender about AKO. Marijuana has intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming and addictive. Marijuana impairs concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence. There are health risks associated with consumption of marijuana. For the use of only by adults 21 and over. Keep out of the reach of children, and marijuana should not be used by women who are pregnant or breastfeeding.
The Bait Shack, located on Ship Creek upstream of the bridge. Can't miss the bright red shack. They are the go-to fishing gear rental and guide service on Ship Creek. Tight lines and fish on. Come hook into the action with them. Hit them up at thebaitshackak.com.
Snow Pro AK, your snow and ice management company specializing in business and residential properties. They know what it takes to keep your property presentable and safe. Give them a call for a free estimate at 280-7098 or visit lawnproak.com. Double Shovel Cider Company, located off of Arctic and 58th. Handcrafted Alaskan-made colonial ciders. They also have a tap room downtown on the corner of 5th and E. Stop by today and taste an award-winning cider.
The Alaska chapter of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. BHA is the voice of our Alaskan public lands, waters, and wildlife. Their goal is to uphold our hunting and fishing legacy while keeping our public lands wild. Stand up today and join BHA at backcountryhunters.org. Adam, what happened, dude?
I already opened mine. I jumped the gun.
I know,
He's thirsty.
Yeah.
This feller's thirsty.
It's kind of like a test. Like, do you listen? Do you even listen, bro?
Hey,
And he does. though.
long time listener, first time caller. Sorry, fuck off.
I love that.
That's fair. That's fair.
You're all talking about being professional. Like, oh, I better open this ahead of time.
Oh, yeah.
Nice mics.
That's why we
Yeah,
normally have
well.
like 3 in front of us so we can drink one,
Exactly,
open one,
man.
chug one.
So we were talking casually before the episode. We had you on. Was it last week?
Week before with Meg.
Dude, fucking weeks are just like blurring together. We had it on our agenda previously to talk about lucky assholes that draw stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And it just so happens in the house tonight
We have one of them.
we have one of those because our boy Adam's on a 10-year he's on a 10-year drought, And we all struck out this year with a donation to the ADF&G. But so we don't forget, we would like to scold and celebrate.
Yeah, because you're
Your
probably
luck.
coming with me.
I hope so.
So don't scold too hard.
Tell John you got this guy. His dream is to go to Kodiak. But no, tell us about what you got.
Congratulations. How about that?
Thank
How about
you.
congratulations?
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Well, the story,
Well said, sir.
I mean, even, I think I told you guys too, but I was coming off shift, and normally when those come out, it's like, I remember it being like late morning, early afternoon sometimes. So I was like, I was in a good headspace, like already. I'm like, you know, who cares? Doesn't matter. Like, you can hunt anything all the time. Like, we already won, like by living here, getting to hunt. So it was like, it's always just a bonus. And so we're sitting around having coffee, and a guy that doesn't normally work at our station was working there, and I think he kept pushing like refresh for him, and you know, we're sipping there, like getting ready to get up to do chores, and he like takes his phone, shoves it in my face, and I was like, oh shit, congratulations, like that's awesome, what'd you win? And he let me go on for like what felt like minutes, and he's like, that ain't me. I was like, who is it? And he just looked at me sideways. He's like, that's you lucky motherfucker. And I was like, dang. Anyways, so that was pretty cool. So that was a unit I put in for, not really knowing much about it, only because John Sturgeon suggested that I do. And so that's a unit that he's hunted for years, and he's got the setup dialed, the logging camp, the trucks, the trailers, like.
Yeah.
What is the elk?
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yep. And then so when
it's any species or any sex.
It's either?
Either sex, yeah.
Yep. So when we went to Nashville, we were able to kind of solidify some kind of plans.
Nice.
And it was not like what I was expecting, like from the sounds of it, like how they do it. It doesn't seem, makes it sound like it's not very hard. If you can find the herd type of deal.
Well, you got a guy who's been doing 50 years.
Right. So it's like,
we'll just go in there.
So like one of the first things he texted me is like, looks like we're going elk hunting. I was like, hell yeah, John. So I think another guy that he goes with pretty frequently, I think he's like the ex-CEO of Wells Fargo or something. His nephew also drew the tag.
Oh, what?
Oh, the double whammy?
Mm-hmm.
Another lucky dickhead, huh?
So like I started getting
I'm
like,
actually really happy for you though.
John sends me like 6 photos of like these amazing elk that they've taken
Start just jazzing you up
of the area. Yeah. And then a few weeks ago, I was at the sheep banquet.
He's like, check these out.
Yep. Showed you guys the photos. Yeah. Oh, this was taken yesterday. And it's just like, I'll take that first one. Like, you look good.
What's the dates on it?
October 7th.
That's so awesome. Like in the just random.
Yeah. So
not in the middle of the other.
And I think, you know, if things play out right, like I'll go there, you know, and I won't turn down like a good buck either if like we see one.
No,
but I still have plans to go back at the end of October to do that same Kodiak hunt that I did last year.
A girls trip again too?
Yep.
Sweet.
Oh, Courtney as well, and same girls.
It's not solidified who's coming yet.
Oh,
but
so it's taking applications.
Mm-hmm, pretty much. So but I paid the deposit, got the dates locked in, and it's like you had to do that by January.
Can identify as a girl.
I will be. My steelhead season will be finishing up at that time, so I will be.
So
on
we got
the rock.
a few people tossing their names in the hat. I'm into it. Let's see what we can work out.
He'll be a double shovel with a cider, just like, hey, he's waiting for the call.
I'm ready.
You are going to absolutely lose your mind on that elk hunt. Elk, I mean, I love Alaska. There are a few things I miss from the lower 48, but chasing elk around, hearing those things scream, trying to stick an arrow in one of those things, you're going to lose your fucking mind, Thompson. Good for you.
Thanks.
Does he say that they, I meant to ask him that. They do much calling of it, or is it just kind of like hike and hopefully find the herd?
From what John said, it's like you're hiking and looking for the herd. Okay. Like they're not doing a ton of calling. You might hear them scream every once in a while, but
it just depends on when the rut's swinging hard, which varies, I imagine, from week to week.
Yeah.
Is that the rut?
Yeah.
Is it different than when it is in the lower 48? Or is it the same time?
It kind of depends on the area, like where I'm from in Colorado. It would generally, like the full-on rut would be more in October.
Okay.
Archery season was the month of September, but you'd still hear them screaming and calling and get them coming into an estrus cow call or just and hearing that bull bugle
so
back.
cool.
Oh, man. You're going to
Is there a huge like difference in the Rocky Mountain versus the Roosevelt in terms of their rut behavior?
Or call?
Like, do the Roosevelts rut lesser aggressive or more aggressive than the Rocky Mountains? The reason why I ask is because...
Well, remember, I've never drawn a tag in Alaska, so I have no idea about Roosevelt.
I couldn't tell you about drawing and
Can you tell us
anything.
the science?
Well, okay, so you've hunted Rocky Mountain elk.
Yes, sir.
And I've watched endless videos on YouTube and on Outdoor Channel and have just been enamored with elk because I feel like it's the next best thing, or maybe even better, some might argue, to moose hunting, where you can manipulate and call and communicate with an animal and get it to kind of, come into the palm of your hand if things are right. And you see these guys get elk to say 10 yards away and they're just screaming so loud, it looks like you're blowing your eardrum out. And I'm like, do they do that on Kodiak?
I don't know about on Kodiak, but one of the coolest experiences I've ever had hunting was we called in this bull and we're bugling him in and he gets to about 40 yards and we start doing an estrus cow call. And this bull just comes in with a raging fucking hard on, trying to find this cow.
The pink thing was sticking out.
Oh man,
everything?
it was just, and he's looking around. We're chirping on it, and he just starts destroying this pine tree, just fucking it up with his antlers.
Drooling and shit.
Oh, it was so crazy. And he's looking around. I mean, you could totally tell he was a dude. Coming in for a piece of ass and couldn't find it, and had been decoyed. Where is it? And was just, I can smell it. And I'm at like full draw, like, come on, just come around the tree, just come around the tree, just come around the tree. And he never came, but like still just having that memory of watching that animal come in, like you guys were saying, like literally talking to these animals and speaking their language. You're going to have a blast. Thompson.
And seeing some videos too, it's like, it seems like people, I mean, like the goal is obviously to call them in as close as you can. And it's like, do they not see?
Well, they do see, but I mean, if you're doing it right, I mean, the first bull that I shot, I smelled it before I even saw it, which is like
they're ready.
Most primal thing in the world, just standing behind a tree and like, they're coming.
Oh God.
Sounds like the Pioneer Bar.
But yeah, it's
like he's rolling in piss, and he stunk, and you caught wind, and
you could smell him. Yeah.
Damn, you winded the animal.
I winded the animal, correct? Yeah, yeah. He didn't smell me, because that would have not worked out well.
Yeah, the wind was in your favor.
The wind was in my
smell
favor.
his ass.
So crazy.
That's a cool story, though.
Yeah.
Well, at any rate, we can talk about this forever. But congratulations! I wanted to make sure that the world knew.
Oh, great.
MET was lucky
again.
But you're hitting your stride right now. I was mentioning to you through the week, I finally watched the Kodiak video.
Yep.
Courtney put out the 7 out of 9 tags, and I listened to the pods to follow. And
what's it titled? So people that want to watch it.
The video was
it's just
Kodiak Girls Hunt 7 out of 9 tags, I believe was the official name of it. It's somewhere on those lines. I might have missed it up.
No, I think you're
front
close.
or back. It was pretty close to that, but I was really impressed, and I wanted to give her a shout out. I want to give you a shout out, and Kristen a shout out. Just that you guys were so brave to put that out in the world and to show some of your vulnerability and mistakes. And wins and losses and ups and downs, and you see videos. I mean, we've all probably watched a bunch of YouTube and videos of various hunts all over the world, that from pro to amateur, and it was just really cool to see 3 chicks doing it by themselves and getting after it, having success, and and then you get your tags and you're on a roll. So
yeah. Thanks.
Keep it rolling.
Appreciate it.
I will say, you mentioned on like pro and I'll enjoy the most amateur like hunting video that some dude just did on his phone and as well as like the dopest,
edit,
Production.
storytelling. Yeah.
crazy,
Sometimes
4K.
those are the best because that's one thing I really appreciate. Not that this is amateur by any means. I want to make sure I say that first. Like Ranella's, their meat eater stuff. Like they miss shots and they make mistakes and they show errors, and I like that. I like when people show the shit that didn't go right.
Because that's what normally happens.
It's actually what happens more times than not. Yeah. People's fucking guns misfire. They miss.
Yep.
They're shaky. They blow a stock. How many times do you blow a stock before you actually make one?
Oh, more times than not.
Right.
I mean, when you see
you don't see that on video usually.
Yeah, that's what, like, with Emily's video and some of the other ones out there, like you're saying, whether it's, Kuyu, Ranella, and they just show how hunting actually is. It's not like you just walk out to the woods and bang, and then you got your animal, as we all know.
it happens, but rarely.
It does occasionally happen, thank God.
Yeah.
But just to see the realness and the emotions, the up and downs, or just really, seeing something that's real and valid and showing how it is awesome. Again,
and you can relate
good
to
work,
it.
Emily.
Thanks, buddy. No, I love
But
it.
next year, you're either going to be the one typing on my computer screen, or I'm going to party hunt with you, because this shit is fucking bad.
You're going to be behind me like puppeteering.
Here, I need your
Just
fingerprints
touch
on my shit.
computer here.
Did you met her and Joe Peters party hunting? They just get every tag they put in for.
Yeah.
Joe's another one of those guys that just gets every tag.
Joe, holla at me. Let's go.
All right, going for the bison, the elk, the moose, the goat, the ram.
That's funny. Welcome to Alaska Wild Project, episode 109. Today we have Adam Cuthriell. I got a lot of spelling names. I misspelled it 10 times before I asked him. Fish Hound Expeditions. We're just going to call you Adam.
That sounds good. Cuthriell, it's Welsh. It means boat maker.
Oh, shit.
Welsh boat maker.
I know, man.
No, it's Welsh. It means
boat maker.
Yes.
Have you ever made a boat?
No, I have not made a boat. I've made a lot of boat frames, so partway there.
I think that counts. Yeah. You contributed to the construction of a vessel?
I did.
A waterbound vessel?
A waterbound vessel that goes on water. Yeah.
I
Sometimes
feel
called
like-
a boat.
I feel like your ancestors would be kind of proud.
I think they'd be stoked.
They'd be like, you know what? That works.
They made frames to go in helicopters. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Sick. Do you have... Are you one of those guys that has like 4 different boats?
Oh, God. Times how many?
I think I have 18 boats.
18
What?
boats. Oh, okay.
All right, list them off.
Oh, fuck.
Hold
What
on.
about your newest one that like...
Oh, my new jet boat?
Yes.
Oh, I love
Because that
my new
one's
jet
fire.
boat. Yep. I got
Love jet boats.
Yep. From a guy up in the valley, makes inflatable jet boats. They are super awesome.
Like the solar version?
Like the solar version, yeah.
Making them here.
Yep.
Can we look him up, or is he like top secret?
Jim at Jet Tech Inflatables. Jim's
Jet Tech.
Yeah.
Looking it up.
Yeah, they are awesome. I can't say enough good thing about those boats. I mean, with the motor, it weighs 400 pounds. It floats in 1.5 inches of water. And unlike traditional aluminum jet boats, where if you guys have been in a traditional aluminum jet boat, if you hit something, it's
boom.
fucking jarring. With
it
these, I mean, it's an inflatable boat, just bounces off. You can keep going. They are impressive. And 2,000 pounds, still 1.5 inches of water. It's remarkable what they can do.
So you've had that.
God damn.
Is it 2 seasons now? When did we go? When did we go out to that lake in Willow and like
ripping it around?
2 years ago?
Yeah.
This right here. These bad boys.
Oh, my goodness. Boom.
he
Going
got
up
air.
the rapids.
He got airborne.
Up the rapids.
Yep.
That
is the
Straight up fucking airborne.
Yeah, I straight up need
So
one
you
of those.
you have just one of those
just one
right
for
now.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
my
where do you use that one
God damn.
specifically for certain places?
Yep.
Got it.
Yep. We're offering drip boats.
Upper Kenai or what?
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
We
That's
come
so
up from
funny.
gyms.
Everyone's like, "Oh, so you're a fishing guide? You must guide on the Kenai." I'm like, "Yes, I guide on the Kenai. Sure, I do. It's the only place in Alaska
Exactly
to
where
fish."
I got.
Those things are ripping. I thought I didn't know.
shit.
Oh, shit, he's
he bit
over.
it. Oh yeah, Watch
He's out of the boat. He is out of the boat.
He's hanging on though. No, he hung on.
Nice.
Oh yeah, he hung
Getting in.
on.
Oh, he's got a
Oh, I
helmet on.
love.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
he's
he's
got
got
a-
like a snow machine helmet on.
He's fucking ready for that.
Oh, these things are full on. And as you can see,
and back at it.
the stuff that you can run up, and if you get bounced out.
Is that Cuthriell?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
This looks like it should be a Red Bull sport.
Jesus.
No, that's not
They
Cuthriell.
really-
Guys, people that are listening, these are like
Holy
5,
shit.
6, 8 foot like waves.
Oh, yeah,
Going
check them
up.
out. They're monstrous.
Would that be like class 3, class 4s that
Yeah.
they were jumping
I
right
would
there?
think so.
Yeah, that's class 3. So the cool thing so the difference generally in rapids is consequence. Like some gnarly rapids like that look uber gnar, and if you go for a swim, you're going to be fine because there's no real consequence. Like some of the gnarliest class 5 rapids I've done, when you stick them right, people are like, oh, that didn't seem like a class 5. It's like, well, if you would have fallen out, you would have died right fucking there.
Yeah.
So there's a
Sucked
lot
in
of
there.
big, like class 3s are some of the funnest whitewater rafting there is because you just got these big waves that are super fun and you're loving life. But if you do get tossed, you're just getting flushed out and picked up on the side.
I didn't know that. I knew that the Solar, is that a Russian company?
They are Russian, but Jim at Jet Tech, obviously, as we all know.
Americanized it.
Yeah.
Fucking A, go America.
Go
America. Fuck yeah.
Did anybody pay attention? And this is quick off topic. Doubt anybody knows. I caught like 10 minutes of the World Baseball Classic. USA was versus Japan. Anybody know the?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, buddy.
And moving on.
Wrong sport.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about America, and Mike Trout was out there killing it. And anyway, those are cool boats, though, dude.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Fucking A.
Definitely happy with your investment.
So
Very
you
much so.
got a jet boat, you got a drift boat, you
Jet
got
boat, 17 rafts.
okay.
Yeah, everything from
and
little
those
guys
are-
to big guys.
Those are all Fish Hound business equipment, or like personal, or both, or just
All one and the same, but now
Got
they're
it.
Fish Hound.
got it. Hell yeah! Did you get to go hunting with that boat with the Jet Tech?
I did not.
All right.
Yeah. Was
Is that
too
what he
busy
calls it?
working. Yeah.
Jet Tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All in
Jim's-
good. All in good time though.
Yeah, hopefully planning on this year trying to get out to do some early spring bear hunting with it.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, because they can just go up damn near anything, as you can see from the videos, and then they just hold so much weight, draft such little water, and like for running gnarly rivers, like a lot of the stuff we do is shallower systems with lots of rocks, and you're able just to bounce and ting off stuff and keep on moving. Where like an aluminum boat, you're getting bucked hard, so they're awesome, and they're so much fun. It is really like snow machining, you know, wind and out, throttle out.
Yep.
Now, can you break these boats down and transport them?
You can.
Is that a pain in the ass? Is it probably better just to run it like across the lake or whatever it is you got to do?
Well, it depends on what you're trying to do. Like a lot of us will fly them down to the southeast when we're chasing steelhead, a lot of these smaller systems. And the boat itself just weighs 200 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And then from Jim, I got a nice motor case that you put the motor in. It's zipper.
Oh,
It's got a
cool.
heavy duty handle. So yeah,
Sweet.
you could definitely, I mean, with a lot of stuff that we do, it's all involving planes and helicopters getting out to the remote. So yeah, they definitely break down pretty easy and go.
It's all soft. So just roll it up.
Yeah.
What's the outboard on that? Is that a 40? Like a 40 runs it to like a 25 out of the pump?
40
or?
goes into like about a 30 at the head with the jet, 30,
Okay,
35.
okay.
But because they're so light, I mean, that with that 40 Johnson that I got on, it's an old 2-stroke, which was redone from a guy that Jim knew.
Oh, so it's got
And-
some torque to it.
man, it gets up on step so quick. It's an amazing
So
boat.
you can still throw a guy and maybe a couple 100 pounds of gear.
You can throw
and still
2,000 pounds of gear in there and still
2,000?
yeah,
get it up on step still?
like that.
No shit.
Yeah, we were out chasing.
That's a few dead critters.
It's a few dead
Yeah,
critters,
yeah.
yeah. Or 5
And a
drunk
Yeti
fishing
full of beer?
guides.
Yeah.
Not a beer.
But
Yeah,
we'll,
exactly.
We'll go out when we could fish for kings. Can't anymore, sadly. But that's another subject that maybe we can touch on.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, last year we had 5 of us going out after work, bunch of beer, and we're right up on step, 1.5 inches of water. I was taking the insides of corners just to see how shallow it could go, and just right on the inside of every single turn. But he's like, "Why aren't you on the outside?" I'm like, "Because I want to see what this boat can do, man. This is fun." He's like, "I can see the bottom."
badass.
I'm like, "We're fine. Let's keep going."
So is there different sizes?
There are.
What's the range of sizes?
I think the biggest is it's either the 470 or 490 at 16 feet.
Okay.
And then they have a 14-foot version that's smaller.
All right.
The one
So
that you
what's the
just
price
saw-
tag on those?
Yeah.
now?
I don't
Not
know.
with new bottles.
I don't know what they are. I still have mine.
You have to order it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
who knows?
I wonder. Yeah, if you
To
can
be
even get
announced.
them.
Yeah. Call
right
Jim
now.
at Jet Tech. He'll be able to let
I'm
you
guessing
know.
it's probably 10,000, somewhere in that range, maybe.
Around in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you
Compared
can buy a
to-
Kingfisher for 280,000. So, like,
You choose. You
Hey.
choose.
Pick your
Which one you
poison.
choose?
Kingfisher.
yeah.
I want to say thank you again to Gary Weaver. We've been holding your cups and your scotch
Oh shit.
for about 8 episodes.
Speaking of which,
So we're gonna go ahead and
Fuck, Adam's been like, what's taking?
we're
so
taking good care of your stuff, Gary. Promise you that. We
Thanks,
are
Gary.
out of
Cheers to
scotch,
Gary.
so when you come
Cheers
pick up the
to,
when you come pick up the cups, drop another bottle.
He's like, you guys know where Costco's at?
Delicious.
What's it called again, Brandon?
Brandon, this is
Lagavulin?
sipping scotch. You
Lagavulin?
just slammed it.
Did you take a shot?
He just nailed the whole thing.
Yeah, I did.
It's not Crown Royal.
Good scotch you're supposed to enjoy.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
He's like, I'm enjoying it.
I had a rough day at work today.
I like to fucking
Send
full
it.
fucking.
Full onion.
He likes to go on the shallow side of the bed.
Yeah.
It's like, check me out on the landing. Check me out on the landing. Let me know how it goes.
Lagavulin.
Lagavulin?
As I'm saying thank you, I also want to say some thank yous to all the people that have been helping out with the donations and the giveaways for the meat party. I know the show will be out after it's already done. We'll talk about the meat party probably on another episode. But thank you for all the people that have been meeting up with us and giving away stuff. And I also want to say thank you to Tyler Stortz, who's yet to come on the show. You guys know Tyler?
Yes.
Know Tyler?
Is that tall, handsome Tyler?
Tall,
Yeah,
handsome
it's-
Tyler.
yeah.
Dude,
I didn't know his last
I
name.
introduced you to him.
I know, yeah.
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 So I told Tyler-
instantly bromanced with him. I was like,
oh, man, you can't get lost in his eyes.
whoa.
He's just a
As you're
beautiful
looking
guy.
up.
Yeah, dude.
I know he's like 6
so
foot
tall.
4. I'm like,
So tall, so handsome, so smart.
Is he the dude you guys were geeking about on a couple shows ago when you were on? That he's like super badass at everything.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. If
seems
not,
like
he
one of
is.
those guys.
He, he did let me park my boat in his driveway. So thank you
Yeah.
again, Tyler.
Oh, is that where the? Did you go shovel it out? We
I
talked
have
about that.
I have a few times, but I
Oh.
think I need like a tractor to go get it out now.
A Mahindra?
Yeah.
What's the name of your boat again?
Squatting Dog.
Squatting Dog. That's it.
Yeah.
Named
That's
by
it.
Burley.
Awesome boat. Shot my bear out of that boat.
You sure did.
What? You shot a bear out of her boat?
Yeah. yeah.
3 years ago? 4 years ago?
Yeah. Nice spring black. It was awesome.
Nice.
Nice.
He's jonesing to get on the ticket.
What's it called again?
Squatting Dog.
Squatting Dog.
My dad named it.
I just
like
ate my
that.
last pack of Black Bear breakfast sausage, and I need a refresh.
Daddy needs. Let's go.
Refresh.
So anyway, I told Tyler, about obviously the party, and he couldn't come, and he's super bummed because we've been trying to get together, me and him, for like several trips, from ice fishing to Kenai fishing to
Yeah.
just like hunting. And so I'm like, well, he's like, well, let me come by. I'll donate some shit, dude. This
What'd he
dude
bring you?
came. He's like, well, what else do you got? I was like, he knew that I had struck out last year, and then this dude came with it. Like, when you go to Costco and they have like the big boxes that you just put all your shit in?
Yeah.
The whole thing was full.
Of
This guy brings bellies. He brought axis deer. He brought moose. He brought just canned salmon.
Everything from around the world.
Oh my god, dude! This dude had a whole thing. I'm just like,
Yeah, I think he builds a mean smoker too. So I think
so he
we
was
talked about
talking
that.
this shit up. That's why I brought it.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what
Okay,
that
he
is?
gave a bunch for the meat party that I'm going to bring out there, and he gave me access deer, so I'm going to cook some of that for the meat party, and some other Alaska
sweet.
stuff. But he gave me this, and he's like talking a lot of shit about it. That is pretty good, so we'll have to test it out. I think it's almost
I'd be
almost
curious.
about defrosted
Be
there.
curious for Wes to try it, the reigning champ.
Oh, no shit.
there's a couple. I still will put Jonathan Severson's up there.
Sure.
His
Swansea?
is really good. Sworn
Is that what?
Severson.
Oh, no, that's not. No, that's.
Oh, Sworn to Secrecy.
Doesn't he smoke some fish too?
Yeah, that's a secret.
What type of salmon is
Don't
it?
tell anybody.
Bellies. I want to
good
say, actually, really good question.
Well, I would guess he does.
looks like-
He does China Poot like every year and like dips over there.
That looks like coho.
And I think he's a Big.
But just by the size of the
silver.
bellies, or I mean, sockeye. When you guys say?
I don't know. They're kind of far away. I'm just curious, because kings.
Bring it closer. Oh,
silver,
kings. What are
way
kings,
higher.
dude?
Yeah.
There's no more
Yeah.
kings.
Yeah, I know. There's no
Kings
more
are done.
kings.
Actually, it's
Yeah, I
really
bet those
good.
are
Let me
so- I
say
bet
something
they're
about
sockeye.
kings. I don't want to get too
King
political
bellies
with
are
this
the best,
shit.
though, dude.
But shout out to the homie Dustin at the bait shack, because he's gonna have the only fucking king shit popping off for who knows how
Ship
long.
Creek.
And you can say whatever you want about the cannery and hatchery or hatchery, I should say.
Urban fishery.
But like, that's the only place you can get it.
Yeah. And they still eat good.
Yeah, I mean, I want to do a side by side, but you can't now because you can't even get a wild one. Have you had a side by side comparison?
Between hatchery and versus wild,
Yeah, on anything.
don't think you can really tell a difference as far as taste goes.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, hatchery fish, they're dropped in as smolt and sent out, so they're doing the
Yeah.
whole process, eating the same thing. It's not like a hatchery trout that's been, or the hatchery juvenile salmon they put into the lakes around here for ice fishing, where they've just been eating dog food the entire time. A hatchery salmon that comes back has been out in the ocean eating prey,
Yeah,
avoiding
herring
predators,
and-
and
yeah.
coming back. So
Yeah.
I can't tell a difference, but.
Yeah, it would be like he said, like, well, let your dog loose in the woods for 3 years and see how it comes back. It's going to be. I use the
Extreme
word
analogy.
feral.
My
It
dog
would
would
come
be
back dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would come back dead.
Well, it depends what
Dog
kind of
is
dog you
soft
got.
3
as shit.
years? That motherfucker's still alive? Motherfucker comes back with an eye gone and shit.
Snarling.
Fido, you made it. Like, damn.
Fido?
Damn, bro.
He's all snarling at you and shit.
My dog's a little millennial dog. He's allergic to everything. Has to have allergy shots. Special
bougie.
diet.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
he'd be fucking dead.
Does he wear a coat?
No, he doesn't wear a coat. He doesn't wear a coat.
Okay.
He doesn't have any. He doesn't have any vests.
Well, my
or-
wife does have some clothes for him.
Yeah.
I don't put him in a coat, but
Right.
yes, my wife does have. I mean,
He's
an
a
80
short
pound,
haired.
80-pound pit bull boxer mix. Yeah, he would be dead in Alaska.
Just some
Yeah.
podcast 101. Those are say, oh, let's talk about that off the mic. That way you don't have to worry about, getting busted out. Because I was like, does your dog have clothes? You're like, oh, yeah, no. And then she's like, your wife doesn't? Well, yeah. I'm like, okay. So
His wife's not on the podcast.
So the dog,
Okay.
I guarantee you got a picture in your phone of your dog in clothes.
I have a picture of my dog in an Ewok costume with my daughter
that's
in an
awesome.
Ewok costume.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's cute.
That she
That
made.
qualifies. That
Fucking
qualifies.
adorable.
That qualifies. I'm more or less talking about like full sweater, like
No,
I love dogs in costumes.
Yeah.
muffin fucking slippers and the whole.
no. His clothes are all technical. He has a rain jacket that my wife
Technical.
got him. It's a
rain
Gore-Tex rain jacket.
Sims.
Yep.
He's got the Sims.
Right.
Sims waders, and then yes, an Ewok costume.
Sims Canine Edition. Wow, is that shit coming next?
Hey, man, we just threw it out there.
But that's
They're
what's so cool.
listening.
Even on, like all your guides have dogs, and
Yeah.
so it's like their
Oh.
dogs go with them
Yep.
when
Yep.
they guide, and
Yep.
it's like, how cool is that?
Oh wow, it seems to go hand in hand.
Fish hound.
So otherwise, they're sitting in the back.
So
of
my
the truck.
company is named after my hound dog. That was the fish hound. And years and years ago, when I was starting the business, I was like, "Well, shit, what am I going to call this?" And my hound dog walks in and looks at me like, "Dumb motherfucker, it's fish hound." Because you always come on the boats and you're
He's probably looking at you with a head sideways too,
just like on the logo.
Yeah.
Came in, I was like, "Nope, there we go, fish hound expeditions."
So you had the big like.
R.I.P.
Oh yeah,
Like
blue tip
hound.
bloodhound. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
shit.
he was
Those are
awesome,
bad.
man. His name was Hatch. I found him abandoned on the side of the road after an epic stonefly hatch.
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh, Hatch, the fish hound." And
Was
that's
that,
it.
Living
was
on.
that just last year that he passed?
No,
away?
it's 2 years ago now. Made it to 16.
So 16 years old.
What is that about? A 75-pound, 80-pound dog?
In his
Yeah,
prime,
he's
he was
big.
110 pounds.
Those are big boys.
He was a big
He
boy.
lived to 17.
16.
16.
Yeah.
That is a good run.
I couldn't agree more.
Was he in the raft until like 12 or so?
He was in the
13?
raft till his last year.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Had to kind of help him in and out. the
Oh,
whole
of course.
thing, and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. You drug your dog around all the way through and through.
That dog has been on more rivers than most humans will ever have the privilege to go down. He's chased fish all across the lower 48, Alaska. That dog has ran more rivers than most humans will ever dream of.
Fuck
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So cool.
Barked away a few bears in his day.
Oh man, he
Wow.
treated a few bears, got a few bears. He's a great bear dog. He wouldn't run. Just burr, burr.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a good boy.
That's so bears
cool.
wanted nothing to do with that, did
No. We were camped out one time, and these couple black bears. It was actually pretty smart. The mama black bear and the baby black bears, cubs and sows. The mama black bear was coming in and was sending the cubs in on the other side as a distraction, and the cubs were grabbing the coolers and pulling the coolers away. Everyone was focused on the sow. It was fucking wild. She had definitely been doing this, and Hound Dog's
pictures.
Busted her.
And busted the cubs because we were going after the sow.
Yeah.
And the cubs were coming in from the backside here. Burr, burr, burr. And Hound Dog put him up in the tree.
Oh, right.
Like, damn.
What was his name?
Hatch.
Hatch. That's right. Hatch.
Cool
I like
story,
that.
man.
I will say, we were talking about dogs. I've had thank you to so many people that have hit me up. Like, we're on the dog hunt right now, and I've been getting hit up left and right from all kind of different breeders and all that. So there's gonna be a new dog coming up here this summer.
Can't
for
wait.
you, man.
You think this summer already?
Yeah, there's like 2 really good candidates that like they just had puppies.
What kind of dogs?
One's a Vizsla and the other one is a German wire-haired.
Oh, those wire hairs are good dogs, man. So are Vizslas.
No, wire-hair is probably the top winner. Yeah, I think I told you about this.
Yeah. You mentioned it.
Yeah, so we're looking for a name. You know, we like to name stuff.
Well,
so
it's crazy because we have a pretty tight-knit group of folks that hang out, spend a lot of time with each other in the summer, camping trips and stuff. And we all started and we had this we all had young kids, and then we had a pack of dogs. And every year, man, it was like, there goes Gotti, there goes Sonny.
Yeah.
There goes Cash.
there goes Remy.
There goes Brock. There goes Remy. It was like every year, man, one was just like falling off. And they were all our like bachelorette or early relationship or early marriage.
Our first daughter.
Yeah,
our
before
first
we
son.
had kids, right? They were that first generation of dog. And I think last year, minus like 1 or 2 that was running around, which I think were some folks that maybe hadn't hung out much out of, I'm prefacing Gary's area out in Big Lake that we have huge gatherings at. But the dog, there used to be a pack, and now there's like onesie twosies, maybe 3 running around. And I think it'll be cool to have a fresh one in the group.
Heck yeah.
I would
Dogs
love
make
to get
life better.
Yeah, I'd love to get one, man. It's funny. I was just talking. It's actually not funny, but it's coincidence. I was just talking to my daughter. Her mom and her mom's husband, Alex, their bulldog's going through a hard time right now. It sounds like he's maybe, he's in the split between making it, not making it. And he's only like a 6 or 7-year-old bulldog. So it's
that's so tough.
bummer deal. But I was talking to her mom about she's like, I don't know if I want to get another dog. And I'm like, yeah, I've done like 3 years without having to pick up dog shit in the backyard. And it's been nice.
But that's like one.
Okay, that part's cool. And then, not having to find a sitter and whatnot, but I still find myself just like, but they're such a great addition to the family.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
there's so
when
much
kids
to
are little.
learn.
You're
Yeah,
talking to 2 huge dog people, so whining about picking up dog poop, that ain't going to fly.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, some shit. You just pick it
I'm
up.
just saying there are just things that I was like, oh man, like, after the first year and our dogs were gone and I went out to the yard, I was like, oh, part of that routine was shaken because I didn't have to do it. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
I'm gonna start bringing Moose in here when I come.
Oh, you
Well,
should.
and then as the dogs got older, now they couldn't, it was harder to get them around. And so then it was like we were finding them sitters
Yeah.
on camping trips, it was my wife's dog. She couldn't get around very good, so she had to stay home. And then my dog got to come, and then he started falling apart. And then now they both had to stay. And we could have brought them, but having old, broken down dogs and then little kids, you're basically trying to keep. Yeah, you're trying to keep 2 things alive, like just.
I mean, I'm just thinking.
Welcome to the struggle, man.
Yeah,
I walk
dude.
my kids and my dogs. It's like, okay, this is for the kid. This stick is for the kid. This stick is for the dog.
Exactly.
You can't interact. So I'm like, struggle.
I mean,
is
it
real.
I'm just remembering when we were
yeah.
out at Valdez 2 years ago, and you had Hatch, and it was.
Yep. Had a baby and 2 dogs in a parking lot in Thompson Pass, shredding gnar every day.
Oh, I mean, just
granted
just going
a dope
through it,
wife that was like helping to facilitate all that.
It
but
takes
it was
a village, dude. It takes a village.
It's so cool, and it was just like dogs everywhere, and I was in heaven.
I'm not gonna lie, it just crosses my mind.
Yeah, I mean that's
like the
Well, we
idea.
decided we're going to take a year off, do a summer without, the last couple of years of the dog when they're like that, it's tough
it's
because
not fun.
you're picking them up, you're putting them on the raft, you're picking up in the truck, you're just like, it's like a
just
baby
like another
again.
baby. Yep.
And so we're like, all right, we'll take 1 year off and it's time.
Yeah.
Gotta have
so
it.
excited.
Gotta have it.
I can't
Got
wait.
to have it.
I
Like-
can't wait.
Yeah, man. It's because we do so much remote stuff and just being out there camping. And even like when I'm not home, maybe the dog's there. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, it's awesome.
And then once you get them accustomed to like, yep, we're doing shit. It's like they're used to it. Like once you start them at a young age, it's like that's just what we're same with kids, right?
Yep.
It's like you're just gonna do it. That's
Yep.
what we do.
So we're really stoked about that.
As am I.
I'm
Second.
excited. I mean, I like the idea of everybody else bringing their dogs, so I can just get the fix and get some hair on my clothes and be like, oh yeah, that's right. They get their hair in your clothes and your truck and your blankets and your stuff
Everywhere.
Oh yeah, shit. Then you go into Costco and you see the dude like walking around with a Kuya jacket and it's just covered in dog hair. And I'm like, oh, that's right.
He's got it.
So I'm not saying I don't want it.
No, it sounds like you don't want it.
I'm all over the
Are
place.
you a cat guy now?
Big cat guy. Big cat.
Big cat guy now, huh?
If you want me
okay.
to, you want me to suffocate
meow,
from
meow.
allergies? Yeah, no.
Hey, Sam, you're allergic to cats?
Isn't everyone?
Yeah,
I mean, I guess.
Cats, yeah.
I grew up with cats my whole life.
Same.
And then I turned like 20, and all of a sudden I'm allergic to them.
Who had cats? Your mom had cats?
No, we had
You
cats
guys had
growing
cats?
up. Yeah, man.
We never had
We got
cats.
one. We were old school, man. Lived in we lived in Wasilla in the like mid to late 80s, and we like got our cats from out of a box at Cars.
Yeah, I mean, who didn't? That's what
Oh,
you-
dude,
that's
that
what
was
you-
the
that's what
spot,
you did.
dude. That's where you used to get dogs and everything.
Now if you show up with some setup like that, you get the fucking
PETA.
pet. No,
bullshit, dude.
The Muni motherfuckers
Up
show
in the
up.
valley, you can still get cats and dogs at the corner.
There's a guy on Costco on the east side
We
with
were
a
together.
van
Remember we were-
that says
Free
puppies. And actually, shout out to Kodiak Crude. He posted the thing and it got mad crazy. I've seen this person.
Right, like,
and I
you
always,
wanna- you wanna
I'm not
drive
gonna
me?
lie. I drove by and I looked. I was like, "What kind of dog is that?"
Daniel, do you remember the day we went to Costco and we like bought some computers or some shit, and it was your birthday? Remember? It was
My
like early-
birthday?
It was your birthday.
I don't remember most.
Well, it was your birthday.
Shit,
that
we
day.
bought laptops. Shit.
I had a
we
birthday.
buy a laptop?
I had a birthday present for him, by the way.
That's probably why I don't remember.
We go to Costco. We
Yeah.
meet there. We grab lunch and then we go buy some shit.
Oh yeah,
in
and the puppy
studio.
guy was there
Yeah, and he was there. And then the Muni guy was like,
checking them out.
yeah, like I was like, man, is he writing him a ticket? And I'm like, can
He's
you-
acting
can you
like,
not-
well, how
can
much
you
is
not
the
go
dog?
take
He's
the
like
box?
buying the dog.
No, we had a 18-pound male cat named Tigger. He lived to like 18, 19
Nice.
years old. In his prime, he was like 18 pounds. Fucking thing would bring home
My
squirrels,
God.
birds, rabbits.
Oh, just
Cats
outdoor
bring
cat.
home shit and
Presented.
Present
Look,
it.
they're
look,
like,
look,
oh,
Papa.
I
Are you
did this
proud?
for you. Yeah.
That's what Remy
I
used to do
murdered
when
this
she was
for you.
little.
Yeah. They're like,
Did your
hey,
dogs ever do that?
wouldn't kill shit?
Yeah, and bring it back.
Nah, they were scared of the cat.
Oh, the
Cat-
dogs were.
the cat
When Remy was
let him go
little,
out.
she used to go and just like bring all kind of shit back. She was a Weimaraner.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Dude, one time I let her out when we first got married. It was a wedding present to my wife. I let her out the back door, and we were living in her mom's house at that time, and big backyard, and they had like a big mound of compost that led up to the fence, and then the neighbor in the back, and Remy just 100 miles an hour right up the thing, and just jumps off the thing and grabs this bird.
That was her intro?
I mean, she must have been like 14 feet because this fence is like 8 foot, and she's just like, just got the thing.
So
and
you're like,
brought
am
it
I
back.
watching Discovery?
It's like, this is it. This is the dog, baby. And then she.
That was your dog's intro to Alexia?
no, like she was a puppy, but I like before we had kids, like she would
Oh, I
just
thought
she
you
would
were like, honey,
murder
here's your new dog. And
squirrels,
she was like,
birds,
"Ah."
like no, she would just get if you were in the backyard, she would get you. she would get you. Birds and squirrels and everything. Like she could not.
If you're in the
it turned into like bagels, the kids' bagels, and like steaks off the grill. But she started out with wild animals.
My first dog, she was a savage. She was the sweetest dog in the world. But yeah, we'd be out fishing. I'm out there fishing, and all of a sudden I hear my dog behind me, and she's got a squirrel, and she just drops it right down. Like, Dad,
Papa,
I got
look.
this. Fuck. And then we're out. The worst thing was we were out fishing. This is back in Colorado when I was a guy down there, and we're fishing on state water, and there's a Division of Wildlife office up on the hill. And of course, it's Colorado. We were bullshitting earlier about the uptight Sims fishermen. You know,
sure. Yeah.
It's duck season. I just want to add out there, and we're out fishing.
So it's kind of magnified?
Yeah, you'll hear the point here.
Okay.
And the DOW office is up there, and we go down, and there's some ducks. And my dog just barks at the ducks and chases the ducks. And this dude's kind of giving me the eye from the sun. Like, what the fuck? Go to fishing. He just leaves. And about 5 minutes later, the DOW ranger comes down. And I'm a fishing guide. He's like, Adam. I was like, hey, what's going on, man? Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, shit. I was like, what? He's like, is that your dog? I was like, yeah. You see her all the time. She's always fishing with me. Well, that dude was a lawyer. And he just said that your dog barked and chased at the ducks. I was like, oh, okay. Like
the dog was doing dog things.
I'm like, it's duck season. Like, what the fuck going on? He's like, well, that's technically harassment of wildlife. I got to give you a ticket because he's up here watching, and he's a lawyer from fucking Denver. I was like, what?
You're like, you better pencil whip that ticket so hard.
Me? So yeah, I got a like $350 ticket for my dog barking at ducks during duck season in Colorado.
That's ridiculous.
Dude, that's a mega thumbs down.
Yeah.
He can stick that thumb up his fucking ass.
He was super nice about it. I mean, I respect
not the
lawyer, the other lawyer
the
guy.
other guy.
Oh, total
No,
douchebag.
he's got a job to do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
unfortunately,
the dude's got a
the way
job to
all
do.
that whole thing
Yeah.
works,
Yeah.
I only imagine what you got to deal with.
Yeah. But
That I'm offended.
I was very
this is
offended.
past tense. I'm offended.
Yeah.
That's fucked up, dude. That is fucked up. I gotta pee. Let's take a quick break.
let's
We'll
do
be
it.
right back.
Barney Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. Barney specializes in supplying hunters with the absolute best Alaskan-proven gear on the market for some of nature's most rugged and demanding terrain. Whether you're headed to the remote volcanic islands of the Alaska Peninsula in search of a brown bear, or the shale-infested glacial valleys of the Brooks Range for Dall sheep, it is critical you choose the right gear for your dream hunt. Don't miss Barney's exclusive brand, Frontier Gear of Alaska, tested from the high mountains of Tajikistan to the extreme conditions of Alaska. These products were designed for high performance and durability. Frontier Gear was derived from decades of experience hunting big game in Alaska. Paired with other top brands, it provides you the absolute best gear selection anywhere in the world. Stop in at Barney's Sports Chalet in Anchorage on Northern Lights, or check out their custom website and reference tool at barneysports.com.
The Alaska chapter of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. BHA is the voice of our Alaska public lands, waters, and wildlife. From national level policy work to engagement with boots on the ground projects from Kotzebue to Ketchikan, BHA performs public land cleanups, hunting and fishing clinics, and community education to help take your game to the next level. BHA's community-minded goal is to uphold our hunting and fishing legacy while keeping wildlands wild and fostering the next generation of sportsmen and women for years to come. Make sure to follow BHA Alaska for upcoming events, local brewery pint nights, and more. Stand up for Alaska public lands and waters by supporting the Alaska chapter of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. Join us today at backcountryhunters.org.
The Treehouse AK, your one-stop dispensary located at 341 Boniface Parkway. Be sure to ask the bud tender about their deal of the day, because honestly, there's always something good on deck. And guys, listen, this is where the culture lives. At the Treehouse, their dedication to servicing consumers has been developed through a lifetime of involvement in the cannabis culture. They're committed to providing the highest quality products at whatever value your budget affords, while always maintaining the deep-rooted principles that have carried them this far. Their focus is on relationships over transactions, and you can always depend on them to treat you with the respect you deserve. Hit them up at thetreehouseak.com, and remember, you must be 21 years of age to enter their store.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience. At Total Truck, you can find brands such as ARE, RSI Smart Caps, Goose Gear, iCamper, Front Runner, Rigid Lights, Rhino Linings bed liners, and everything you need to outfit your truck or SUV. Alaska Overlander provides 4x4 vehicles and expedition trailers custom modified for Alaskan adventures and outfitted with rooftop tents, fridges, and all the camping and cooking gear you need to start exploring. Visit them at alaskaoverlander.com. Put that shit down there.
Dude, you're doing it wrong, man.
Well, it was just a little glass. It was like probably 3 sips.
Okay.
Like, rah!
No judgment around
Yeah.
here. You do you, boo. You do you.
I just
Lies
wanna
are
get
the
it-
truths you tell
I just
yourself.
want to get it done. Go back to hydrating. So, Adam, we as you know, we have our loose agenda that we run by.
I like it.
Let's get into your history, man.
Yeah, man.
Let's do it.
I like we talking fishing, Alaska. What are we talking?
Let's start from the beginning. You've got some Western experience and time. You talked about elk hunting and fish hunting. Now you're an Alaskan guide.
Yep.
Let's start from the beginning. Like, where did it all start? What inspired you? Who had an impact on you? Let's go for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, my parents, we grew up, I'm from Colorado originally.
right.
My mom worked at Walmart. My dad was a cop, so pretty, blue collar upbringings. Our biggest thing was going camping on the weekends and fishing and hunting and just getting exposed to the outdoors at a very young age. And that just kind of stuck with me. I mean, when we were going to high school, like we were talking, we'd go out 4-wheeling, camping, drinking beer, fishing, hunting. Like that's what we did.
Siblings?
Yeah, one younger brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many years difference?
2.5.
Oh, so you're tight.
Yeah, we are tight. He lives in the gates of hell, Southern California, for some god-awful reason, but he got out of the military, and that's
I thought you were saying he got out of the gates of
Did he,
Yeah,
does
he got
surf?
out.
Does he
Jeez.
surf? Or
No, that's the
He's back
sad
in Kenai.
thing. He doesn't surf. He doesn't.
does he wear Vans and shit? I mean,
Oh, it's like the people that live in Alaska but don't do Alaska shit.
Kind of.
and
he's-
complain about it?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a job. He's got his 3 daughters. He just had twins.
Oh, wow.
Twin baby girls.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Power to you, brother.
yeah, daughter dad says I'm sitting here with my painted nails that my daughter did because she was like, "Oh,
Things are
daddy's going on a
flossing, dude.
show."
She did a good job.
She did a pretty good job.
Yep,
though.
shout
Only
out
half the
to,
finger.
what's your daughter's name?
Her name is Alder.
Alder. Shout out to Alder.
Yeah.
Real good job.
It's a manly shade of pink.
It's very manly shade of pink.
Did you choose or she chose?
She chose.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a strong.
She got some
independent
metallics
woman.
going on there.
Nobody
She
tells
knows what she's looking for. She had that decision made before
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
it even started.
It was so cute because she's like, "You're going on a show. We need to do your nails." And of course, I'm like, "Okay,
All right.
let's
Yes,
go.
we do.
Let's do this."
love that, man.
Yeah, she's awesome. But yeah, younger brother lives in SoCal. Grew up hunting, fishing, and ironically, or cool enough, or cliche, like me and my buddy's dreams, who we started really getting into fly fishing. Like our dream was always to own an outfit in Alaska. I was going to be the fishing guide. My buddy who became a pilot was going to be the pilot. My buddy who was going to design everything became an architect. So we all 3 set out to do what we become, but I'm the only one who ended up doing it in Alaska. Was going to go to college to be a lawyer for some god-awful reason. I was going to be a water law lawyer in Colorado because, like Mark Twain said, whiskey's for drinking, water's for fighting.
Yeah.
And got halfway through that process and realized that I don't want to spend my life in a courtroom. And in my head, I made up this degree called Outdoor Recreation Leadership, what actually turned out being a real thing. I was going to college on my own dime on scholarship, withdrew from Northern Colorado, enrolled in an awesome school called Colorado Mountain College, and got a degree in Outdoor Recreation Leadership. And I'll never forget that phone call calling my parents. Because like I was the first kid in my family to go to college, and like I was gonna be the lawyer. Like I was the first.
ass deal.
Mom worked at Walmart. Dad was a cop. Like going to college, and smart kid,
rising above.
Right. And I call my folks. I'm like, hey, so I dropped out of UNC. I enrolled in CMC. I'm gonna become a fishing guide. It was fucking crickets, just nothing. My dad's like, you did what? And my mom chimes in, you just want to live in the mountains and fish and snowboard. And in my head, I'm like, well, yeah, obviously.
Somebody's been paying attention.
Yeah, figured that out quick. So went to Colorado Mountain College, got a degree in outdoor rec, started guiding when I was 19 years old, and now I'm 42 and still a fishing guide.
Oh, that's amazing.
Damn.
Yeah.
2 decades.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, man. I don't feel 42, but...
You don't look 42.
Well, thanks, bud. Neither do you.
Where's your gray hair, man?
I'm not
I got
42,
a
but
couple
I'll
grays in
take
there.
it.
Yeah. You need
You
another
still got a full
daughter.
head up top.
You need
there,
one
right?
more daughter.
does. He's got a beautiful head of
I
hair,
still got
dude.
full head of hair. It's so
does.
funny, like, so all these years, my life until I had my family has revolved around fish and snow, fish and snow, fish and snow. And, you know, back when we had to do the fishing registration form, we had to get each person's fishing license number and age and all that for the logbook. And, like, you get these dudes from the lower 48, and they're bald, fat, gray. And it's like, holy fuck, dude, you're younger than I am. Like, what are you doing wrong?
Obviously, he doesn't have boat maker.
Built into their name.
They're not drinking enough scotch, in my opinion.
Yeah. Not fast enough.
But yeah, that's how I got into fishing, and the dream was always to come here. And then when I was 30 years old, living in Colorado, had good job, you know, guiding, my family was there. I was like, man, if I don't go to Alaska, it's never going to happen. So me and some buddies were like, hey, let's go check it out for a year. And the minute I got here and started driving down the Turnagain Arm and just saw Alaska, I was like, I'm never fucking going back.
Yeah.
This is home, and Alaska's been so good to me. I met my wife literally like 4 or 5 days after being here. Met her at a bar at the Sitzmark, the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, the old-fashioned way.
The old-fashioned way.
Right.
Meeting your significant other at a bar, and we were, you know, separated at the hip from then, and then had a daughter and started our business, and Alaska has been very good to me.
Who taught you your first fishing knot?
My best friend, David Easton, taught me my first... Well, take that back. My dad taught me my first fishing knot, just the basic fisherman's knot to tie on a lure. Yep.
What about the first time you learned how to fillet?
That was me butchering a poor trout.
Isn't that how it always goes?
Yeah. But yeah, self-taught, started fly fishing at 14, did everything wrong, and figured out how to do it right.
That's the best way to learn, I think.
Yeah. I think it's the best way to learn, but it's also good to pick up friends who know a little bit, or you meet someone who knows a little bit and kind of get held under their wing, not full on like guided, but like helped out, you know, like, hey, maybe you should try this, or have you thought about doing this, whether it be fishing or hunting or backcountry snowboarding or snow machining, but having someone there who has just a little more knowledge to kind of take you under their wing. But yeah, definitely mostly self-taught is a good way to do it, especially if it's something you're passionate about.
Well, let's back up a little bit too. So when did you come to Alaska and start guiding Alaskan waters?
2011.
2011. Yeah. So up until then, all your time was spent in the West?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Oregon, Washington, that area.
So you did the Turnagain thing. You fell in love with Alaska, which totally makes sense. I mean, for the lifestyle you want to live, it's perfect.
Alaska, yeah, fish and snow.
Where was your first watershed that you threw a fly on? Like, where did you start? Okay, I'm going to guide here.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. First watershed I fished in Alaska was the Kenai. We got here in the fall, went out, checked it out. It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I love the Kenai. Caught some fish. I didn't really like the glacial water. I like clear water. I like seeing fish, sight fishing, the whole voyeurism of actually seeing everything that happens. And then that next summer, my first year guiding up here, went out to the Kenai on the opener and saw the Kenai on the opener. 45 boats at the put-in, people shoulder to shoulder. And I was like, this is not what I fucking moved to Alaska for.
Nope.
Yeah.
And went up north and saw the clear waters, way less people. I was like, okay, this is cool. But then my first real experience of Alaska fishing was what I moved here for, and that's fly-out trips. Flew out to a river in western Alaska, and I'm getting there. I'm the first guide being dropped off before the clients. The clients are showing up the next day. And we land on the lake, and, there's all these sockeye salmon moving up. And around the lake, there's all these bears working. And this first bear that was coming up was a blonde bear. And I mean, it was so blonde that if I didn't know where I was, I'm like, that's a fucking polar bear. Because you could see the mud on his paws. I mean, just gnarly.
It's golden.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Honey.
And, you know, no one around. Grab the rod. I'm like, well, clients ain't here. I'm going to go fish. First cast, stick a 30-inch Arctic char. I was like, this is fucking Alaska. This is what I came here for. And
There it is.
just like, man, that's...
How did you decide like where to go on like these first like flyout?
Well,
trips
that was
you were
before I
doing?
started my business. That was when I was just guiding for another company. So I went
Got
to
it.
where I was told. But
Perfect.
it showed me, you know...
Options.
Yeah. I mean... I got a lot of side stories that I could go off on, but Western Alaska is truly one of the most beautiful places because there's not that many lodges. On the rivers that we operate on, there's no lodges. It's just wild, beautiful Alaska. And then after that trip, I came back, and I always, Bristol Bay is, again, just like the Kenai, awesome fishery. But I'd read all these videos, read all these magazines, and saw all these fish forums like Bristol Bay, Bristol Bay, Bristol Bay, Bristol Bay. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going out to Bristol Bay. And we fly out and we land, get in the boat together, and then another beaver lands, and then another beaver lands, and then another beaver lands, and then a jet boat shows up, and then another jet boat shows up, and then another jet boat shows up. And by the time we put on the river, there was like 30 fucking people in the middle of nowhere in Alaska. I'm like, what the fuck? Like there's great fisheries in this area, but they get so much pressure, and they're still good fisheries, just like the Kenai. Phenomenal fishery, 30-inch rainbows, amazing sockeye, but there's so many other rivers in Alaska that are less traveled, less well-known. So many. And we're finding more rivers each and every year. It's just limitless what you can get to. And finding those experiences that have my predefined notions of Alaska, which are wild fish, no people, animals. There's still so many fisheries out there like that.
Yeah, that
You
fish
just
has
kinda gotta
never
dig
sniffed
for
a
'em.
hook before.
Yeah, the fish that eats the fucking bobber as it's drifting down. That's what I like. That's what I like. So,
What would you say is like the main difference between lower 48 fishing and Alaska fishing? The fishing and the people.
So
And be honest too, because
yeah. So
I'm curious to know that too.
when I was in Colorado, phenomenal fishing area, tons of great fishing, tailwaters, gold medal fishing, thousands of trout per mile. But one of the things that I think kind of sums it up the best is I was guiding and had a good client who I'd fished with before, and we're seeing this trout feeding actively. And the client I had, he was a good fisherman, and he lays out this 25-foot perfect ninja roll cast, no false casting, didn't spook the fish, ninja roll cast way out, fish is feeding. The strike indicator, aka bobber, got to within about 10 feet of that fish. I watched that fish pull over to the bank, bobber floats by, fish goes back to feeding. All right, Bob, do that again. Another ninja roll cast way up, fish is feeding. Bobber gets close. Fish moves away. The fuck, that fish knows what a bobber is.
yeah.
So take off the bobber, tie on just a big foam grasshopper so it looks way natural. Same flies underneath. First cast, that fish ate. That fish knew what a fucking bobber was. Super educated, which from a technical fishing, that's cool.
Yeah.
But honestly, a trout should be a wild animal. A trout should want to eat everything that is smaller than it. That's why up here, like I was joking earlier, you throw up with a bobber up here, that fish, I can't tell you how many fish eat the fucking bobber because it's floating down because they're not that conditioned, and that's what's awesome.
Yeah, I've never seen such a thing.
So that's the difference in
I
fishing.
never heard that. That is a great explanation.
Yeah, I mean, our fish, and two, back to like why I moved up here, our fish are all wild. They're all native. Like one of my favorite things in guiding is when you get someone from the lower 48 who knows how to fish, has fished lots of places. You give them a 6 or 7 weight rod. You put 10-pound maximum mono on it, which is in the realm of fly fishing. Like in lower 48, we fished 5-pound line, 4-pound line, 3-pound line because
light.
it's super delicate because the fish can fucking see the line and they fucking know what's going on.
Okay.
So up here,
You wanna
got
feel it.
Yeah, you got 10-pound line on, and they hook into a 16-inch, wild leopard rainbow. And in Colorado, a 16-inch is a good fish. Up here, that's like I mean, it's still a good fish, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of on what we consider the smaller side. But watching a client who knows what they're doing with stout line, just getting their ass handed to them by this 16-inch rainbow, going, how the fuck is this fish doing this right now? Just all the wild genetics, like lower 48, all, not everywhere, but lots of stocked fish, lots of resident, not real wild fish. Like
they don't have the gumption.
They don't. I mean, up here.
Almost trained.
I mean, up here, as you guys know, I mean, Fish and Game has done one of the things that they've done a good job is they've never messed with stocking programs for the most part, as far as like rainbows go, other than in lakes wherever there's wild fish. They keep wild fish, and for the most part, they keep it catch and release to keep those wild genes going. So all these trout for thousands of millions of years, it's only survival of the fittest. Those genes that are making it are the strongest, most badass genes that trout have, and they just fucking rock. And then when that client gets that 16-inch fish, I'm like, wait till you catch one that's 2 feet, dude.
Do they question like, oh, what is the weight of this? Like, is this too heavy?
Oh, well, so for like our day trips, it's a lot of just, your normal tourists. But for the folks who do our multi-days and flyouts, like they're like, what are you tying on? Cable right now? It's like,
because they're probably used to
they're used to like tiny little tippets. It's like, yeah, dude, this is what we're fishing. Well, aren't the fish gonna see it? I'm like, they don't give a shit.
Yeah, all they see is
they don't see line very often.
Yeah, that fly.
Yeah, they don't care. Like that's one thing too that I love up here, like streamer fishing. You cast out, miss a fish, cast out, comes out and eats it again, and then the fish is actually hooked. Like the fish tastes fucking metal. And still eats again because they're just that wild, that aggressive. Where in like the lower 48, minute trout, I like to joke, they may only have a brain the size of a pea, but they use the entire thing, unlike we do. And fish in the lower 48, once they figure out the jig is up, like they're done. Up here, they will just keep coming. They're just so aggressive. It's just so amazing to watch. Because
that's what they're trained to do. Anytime there's something to eat, get it.
They're killers, man. Like our trout up here are fucking killers. They eat meat. A lot of guys in the lower 40, they're like, oh, which type of bug should I tie? I'm like, our fish don't eat bugs, man. They eat meat. They don't grow to this size and this weight.
Didn't you say you caught a fish on
a mouse?
A mouse.
But I was gonna say, do you have your client's mouse ever?
Oh, yes, mousing is the.
Obviously, I was introduced a few years ago, but I was like, oh my god, this is awesome.
Watching a 2-foot trout eat a small mammal on the surface is fucking amazing. It is one of the coolest things in fly fishing that everyone who's a big geek like us should experience, because there's nothing like watching trout come up and eat mouse. Or, well, we don't have mice up here. Well, in the wild we don't. But like eating shrews and voles. I mean, early season, that's what the trout are preying on. They're eating on salmon smolt and shrews and voles. It was kind of cool and, well, very sad, but also cool. A few years ago out west, on one of our rivers that we got out there, the river had a flood and it carved this new channel through this braid. So there was all this grass through this new braid, and it looked like bass fishing. I called it bass grass braid. And there was this one trout that I thought was about 25, 26, and I caught him, had clients catch him probably 7 or 8 times on the different trips throughout the season. And on the last trip, I'm like, all right, we're going to go catch George. George is always here. And mouse in this big bowl, whirlpool, client skittering the mouse along, and this, George just comes up and inhales this mouse, and we got him. But it was back in the day before articulated mouse patterns, so it was just a single shank. And when a trout generally eats a mouse, it's like
it just
brick.
Sucks it down.
Yeah, it just inhales. It is not a subtle take. It is violent. It is aggressive.
Swallows it.
And he did. It gilled him, and I was damn near giving mouth to mouth on this fish because I caught George so many times.
No, George, damn it.
It gets worse. And I get George, and George swims off. I'm like, okay, save George. And so we get back in the boat, float back down the main channel. And this is where the braid comes in, and I see George floating up. I'm like, no, George. And so get out, try to revive him. He's toast. It was sad.
Yeah.
So obviously we're not going to let him go to waste, eat the forbidden fruit, because trout are always catch and release, but this fish just died, so we're not going to let him go to waste. And I was like, well, let's just tape him. 29 inches.
Oh, Jesus.
And when I go to fillet
you never taped him to that point?
No, just let him go. Just guesstimate. I'm fishing guides, can kind of do like this is a 20-inch fish, but I try to be pretty straightforward, that's 25, 26, but 29 on the tape. And as I'm gutting him, had 5 dead shrews in his stomach.
Wow.
Fucking knew it.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So that's
Like
why
one of
he
those
inhaled that
days
thing.
you need to bring like a jar of live,
All the shit I've seen trout eat.
live
crazy.
ones and feed them and fatten those pigs up and like give them a real treat.
A live
everyone.
mouse?
Yeah, why not?
And that's probably why he got so big, because he's eating
They're
like
eating protein, man. Eating protein. Our fish aren't eating bugs.
Yeah.
They're eating protein.
he's like skull, eyeballs, fur and all.
Yeah. And it's so wild, like early season, you can actually see like the shrews and voles actually swimming across the water. And we like to
We're gonna mouse
You see
this
the little
year,
V,
y'all.
like
We're gonna be
they
mousing.
move fast. Everyone's like, well, how fast should I fish? I'm like, about 1 mouse power.
Fucking wiggle it.
Yeah.
You just-
One mouse power.
That shit to move, man. They
That's
move.
what I was like, this doesn't really work. And my arm, I'm like, my shoulder's hurting. And I'm just like wiggling the shit out of it. It's like, oh my God. And then it's like Jaws comes out of the water and just attacked it.
Yeah, I've seen pike attack mouse patterns all day, and that's not that common.
Yeah.
I mean, they like spinners and some other baits that artificial baits that we've used. The surface mouse has always been kind of like onesie twosies.
Oh man, early season pike fishing, like out some of the lakes in the valley, you go out and all those weed beds, get a good weed guard on a mouse, or even though we do have some frogs up here, but you wiggle that on the surface early season, man, it's like missile shooting out.
So that's
much
when
fun.
those shrews are moving a lot, is in the spring.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they come out after the snow melts and
Yep.
they're looking for food and
Yeah.
mating and the whole thing.
Yeah, and crossing rivers. Yeah, it's pretty wild, like to actually see the real thing happen.
I'd love to see a trout killing one, though.
It's so fucking cool, man. We were out one time a few years ago, and we see 2 shrews
R.I.P. George.
moving across, and we're like, oh man, who's gonna make it as one, or who's gonna make it to the other side? And right at that point, like one's making it, a fucking seagull comes down and grabs the shrew.
Those
They
poor
just gotta-
shrews,
they
man.
just gotta
Everything's
uphill
trying to
battle.
get
Shrew in
man.
Alaska.
Could
Oh
be a
my
trout, could be a seagull, magpie, you never know.
That got me thinking when you're talking about the up here too, but the lower 48, where these fish are like learning what's real and what's not by as many fish people are fishing that river or that bend or that fish. What would you say? I mean, this is not science, but like a guesstimate of one of those really big trout on one of those main rivers in the lower 48. How many times do you think they get caught in like a year and then like multiplied to like their lifetime?
Countless. So one of the rivers that I used to guide on in the lower 48, it was private, because in Colorado you can have private rivers, which I do not agree with. That's why I love Alaska. All rivers are public. If you want to walk 5 miles up a river and fish it, you can. It's one of the best things about our state. But in
Or
Colorado,
get heli dropped and float it. You can do that.
Yep. Or even if you just want to, you don't need a helicopter. If you're just willing to hike up
Hoof
a
up
river
it.
and stay in
Yeah.
a high water mean, you're allowed to, which is awesome. Rivers should be public. But like you were talking, like how many times the fish had been caught, like on our section of private water. I mean, we had fish by names that would live in these holes. We had One Eye, or different dumb names that fishing guides would make. And we had a running bet that if you caught a fish that had another guide's fly in its mouth, you got a 12-pack. And one of my clients caught a fish. It was a beautiful fish for the lower 48, but he had 4 flies in his mouth. So I got,
Yay.
I mean,
Damn.
they get
Got a
caught.
pallet of
so
beer
many
for that
times.
guy.
Yeah, I got a bunch of beer. It was great. But it also, just on a side tangent, it does go to show you that if you practice good catch and release ethics, get your hands wet, use a catch and release net, use barbless hooks, that fish can get caught hundreds of times and still live and procreate and have, so it just speaks back to the great innovations that have occurred over the last decade in catch and release fishing, that a trout can be caught that many fucking times and become that educated and still live to give someone else a good tug and have fun. But, some instances up here you have that, on more heavily fished rivers where fish can figure things out and are, it's kind of sad to say, but on some rivers where they allow bait at certain times, all fish eat bait. But when you catch a trout that's missing his maxilla, his mandible, and missing one eye because he got a big old treble hook in there from eating a big gob of salmon roe, but is still eating, still surviving. And I think that just goes back to the wild genetics of our fish, just strongest of the fittest.
Can you walk us through maybe the best technique to release a trout?
So the best technique,
Obviously, barbless.
honestly, barbless hooks, catch and release nets, something that's got a rubber coating, and then also just respecting that fish. Like, we're not eating it like trout. We eat salmon. There's salmon right there on the table, you know?
Yep.
And if you're catch and release sport fishing for trout, minimize the time out of the water. There was a huge study done in Alaska and Washington, and it's a 10-second rule. I don't know how they did this study, but it's pretty amazing. They found out that a trout can survive if you hold it out of the water for more than 10 seconds. That trout more than likely will live. However, if it's a male, it will have lower sperm count. If it's a female, it will have lower egg count. The offspring of that trout are less likely to make it past the stage of being a fry or an alvin, and they're less likely to procreate. So by mishandling trout, you're probably going to be okay to that trout, but you're fucking our daughters and our kids and future generations. So by minimizing the time that the trout is out of the water, you know, there's a lot of people that go back and forth. Now we're getting really into the geeky fly fishing stuff of taking the grip and grin photo or just keeping it in the water. But by using barbless hooks, strong leader so you can get that fish in quickly. If you want to take a picture of it, all right, you ready? As I'm looking at Emily, click, boom, back in the water.
2 or 3 seconds tops.
Yep, and then let that fish go. And if you're having trouble getting it for that photo, just let it go. Catch another one.
Yep.
You know, the photo of you working hard for a fish that's problematic versus it's dying or it not making good offspring, it's not worth it.
Yeah. Now, the thing, I bring that up because as I'm trying to teach my son, who's 12, and obviously there's going to be mistakes made when they're like taking out the hook and learning how to use a
hemostats pliers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like you're going to come across mistakes there, you know, where you might have pulled it out too hard.
Mishandle
or
fish.
he mishandled it and he can't do it, and you got to take over and show him. So it's just like there's some leeway there as far as like teaching
Absolutely.
children how to do it, because you want them to do it the right way. So eventually that, you know, when he becomes an adult, he can do it the right way. So that's good to know about the 10-second thing. So great advice on that.
And they've got like, I mean, hook release tools. I mean, depending obviously if you want to get your photo, like do that, but like hook release tools, so you don't even have to take them out of the water. And that's like a pretty cool new tool that like I just learned about probably like 3 or 4 years ago.
I'm seeing that a lot more, like on Instagram and it's other photos that people share.
I don't really know how to describe it.
They take photos of a fish like, it's just like an inch or two out of the water, which tells me that they just like
and a lot of times
out of the water real quick and got the photo and then dipped him back in the net.
Depending, right? If it's steelhead, like you're not, you're not allowed to take him out of the water.
Yeah, they have to still be in the water.
Stay gills, like same with kings. We were able to fish for them last year, you know, for catch and release. Like that fish cannot come out of the water, and you get that real nice, sexy photo of the fish out there, you know, water going over the gills. But like you're saying with kids, like, you know, I got a 2.5-year-old daughter. She's been out fishing countless times, but just teaching them right. And I think the biggest thing would be just having the tools there for your kid. And like, some of these landing nets are stupid expensive and not necessary, but just get like a good like Frabill net. There's a bunch of nets out there that have big baskets. You can hold the net for the kid so that the fish is in the water, so that you're taking the hook out in the water so that that fish is breathing. Even if your kid messes it up a couple times, it's okay. It's still in the net. It's still in the water. The fish is breathing. Like, okay, do it right. There you go. To teach that next generation on
the rubber net is the move.
100%. And you're right with the big basket and all that. Like I have one of those, and it's so important.
Yeah. As long as you're just, I mean, you're obviously making the strides, and hopefully people are, you know, to learn, to know how to do it the right way so that they can at least inform. Yeah, like you said, mistakes are going to be made, but it's like, as long as like you're informing them, like, okay, this is what we're doing and why we're doing it, you know, and then they'll learn as you keep going, you know?
I mean, let's not forget, like fishing, it's a blood sport. You know, catch and release fishing is great because we're able to experience that and then let them go so we can catch them again. But let's not forget, like, we got into fishing so we could feed ourselves, feed our families.
Put fish on the stringer.
Exactly. And
Right, knowing which ones you can grab that bat and hit the piss out of.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because especially when you're doing like a mixed day, like let's say you're doing the upper Kenai and the sockeye are running, and you might catch into a sockeye.
Yep.
There's like the difference between like drag that fucking thing in here and blast it on the head versus like be gentle.
Yep.
And let's not take it out of the water.
Yep. Yeah, there's a fine line, and it's so cool that you can do both in a day too. You know, and a lot
fill
of
the
these
freezer
places.
and catch a wild fish and let it go back just so that someone else can experience it. It's great.
Yeah,
it was funny. A couple of years ago, I was just it's a spring day, Finger Lake.
Yep.
Just ice went out, get the motor running on the boat, rip around, trolling a Rapala or something, just probably 2 or 3 feet down, smacking ice like 24-inch stock dolly or char or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I think it was a dolly, and hook him, get my rubber net, boom, net him. My grandpa catches him, pull the hook out. I'm like, all right, pick him up, and this is a stock fish. This isn't a wild. I'm pretty sure it's a stock fish, but I had no intentions of keeping him. Right?
Yeah.
He gets his photo. He like was holding it like, I'm like, okay, Grandpa. So I grabbed the fish and set him back in the water. And he's like, well, we're not keeping it? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to keep the fish? He's like, what do you mean? Yeah, I'm going to bring it back, throw it on the grill. I'm like, oh, damn. I don't keep trout. I don't keep char. I don't keep this stuff.
My mom said the same thing.
I mean,
right, I know we've talked about that before.
My point is the old school is like you catch a fish and you bring it home, you put it on the pan.
Yeah.
You eat it. And I do that too. I get that. Grew up doing that. But there are just times when it's like you're in harvest mode or you're in I just want to catch a fish and throw it back mode.
Yeah. Just want to catch the fish.
Just funny fishing with a different.
And there can be both. There can be all the things.
Well, and I'm like, well, if we catch a couple little rainbows, we'll keep them pan fries and throw those in. But that's a nice older fish, and even though stock or not, I don't.
Yeah, I feel about a way. I feel about a way when that.
It's not an eater fish, and so. But he was just like, I mean, we you put the old metal stringer on the cleat and drag a fish. Put another one on there. You know what I mean? It's
stringer full of rainbows.
The mentality.
I know, right?
Oh, it's so funny. Like the majority of
stringer
fish
full of 16-inch rainbows. Like, oh god,
my god, Grandpa.
Grandma, get the flour in the frying pan out.
Trout and eggs. But it's so funny, like the amount. Like we got a bunch of buddies, you and I, Emily, who are all hunting guides, and people who are just like bonking fish left and right. And it's like, hold on, wait a minute. People pay to do all this. You hop on planes, you hop on helicopters, you go out to the middle of nowhere, and you catch the fish, and you let them go. Yep.
We sure do. That's what you're paying for.
Hold on. So you're telling me that people pay all this money and you catch the fish and you let them go? Yep. That's what we do.
Wrap your head around that.
Yeah.
But we can also take you on another trip where you can whack them and we can cook them up.
Yeah.
Yep. It's just a mentality, man.
I wonder who even thought about that. Like, we can make more money if they don't keep them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to me, like personally, like relating it to hunting, like I love hunting. I sadly don't get to hunt as much as I once did with our business, but like I love hunting. The chase, the stalk, even the work, like I love every aspect
of it. The harvest, the meat in the freezer,
but to me, like the worst part is actually pulling that trigger or letting that arrow fly, because it's like that animal's dead. I mean, I get it. That's what we need to do. I totally support that. But like, that's the worst part. Whereas like with fly fishing or any sort of fishing and you're catch and release, you get to do that. And you're like, oh, okay, there you go. Yep. Someone else is going to have that same experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're able to do the act without actually doing the act. I don't know.
Yeah, you get the fun part of, well, it's like, okay, so to hunting, right? There's such a thrill in, spotting the critter, stalking the critter, watching it, whatever, calling it, and then you get in range, and then you realize, oh shit, like it's about to go down. You put your sights on it, click it off the safety. You know, it could be a handful of different emotions, right? You could be jitters, you could be calm, you could be whatever. And then once you let it fly, I mean, there's no
take back.
Yeah.
There's no take back.
No take back.
And it is.
We're not reviving a George and like trying to let it. Just kidding. I didn't
Come on, George, you can make it. But it is an unbelievable thrill, and you know, adrenaline and emotion and
yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, happiness and sadness and like the whole thing. It's a great point. I never actually thought about that as far as the catch and release is so nice because you're like, you get to do all the exciting stuff all the way up to you pull the trigger except for it just shoots a rubber bullet.
Yeah. You get the
moose walks away
package.
I think we've talked about this before maybe too, but like relatively new into the salt fishing game and you know, I know you've been plenty, maybe not a ton or
last year was my first time going.
Right.
And it was fucking awesome.
And that's what I equate salt water fly fishing to is like, to me, that's straight up hunting.
Oh, hunting.
You are sight,
like spot and stock type.
Sight fishing, you know, like throw in like everything that works at them. Okay. Like few casts, they look at it, they see it, you know, if you're able to even present, you know, whatever fly to them, but then it's like, you got to be on your game quick, change it up, throw something else, a shrimp pattern, crab pattern, whatever. And you could be literally like running down the beach, you know, to like try and get another cast because you see them like traversing. It's like saltwater fly fishing is like,
it's
shocking to me
like
that you haven't been that much. And I'm sure
it's hard to leave Alaska and steelhead and snow.
It's a lot.
Right. Yeah. You got to
hunt and trip in.
You pick. It's like, oh, which activity do I want to do more? You know, shred power, like go somewhere tropical.
So when you were referencing saltwater, that's what you're referencing to was actual like bow flats, fly saltwater fishing. Not deep sea, halibut type stuff.
Okay. Stalking the flats, like Emily's saying, like going for bonefish, permit, tarpon, and snark.
Yeah.
Like you are hunting, like particularly for bonefish. Like you get out on this beautiful flat and they are so keyed up and you're stalking very quietly. You're looking for
where you
these
got like the pole and you like push the boat
hopefully you got somebody.
Hopefully you got a guide.
And that's what you're paying for. It's like that second set of eyeballs and they are trained. Like, and until you've actually been able to like see and know what you're looking for, it's like they're gray shadows and you don't see them. You know, and then they're, you know, they're like, 80 yards, 2:00. It's like, the fuck they are. And it's like, right you just trust and hopefully you got a good guide and like you just start, you know, pulling line and like putting it to where he says. And, you know, it's so cool and it's such an experience.
Oh, it's so much fun. And even like we were talking earlier, like hunting, like the trials and tribulations, like with flats fishing, like even if you do everything right, you make the perfect cast, you're casting right to that tailing fish and your line lands perfectly. But what you didn't see was the 5 other fish that were right by there. So your line lands, those fish spook, and then they spook the fish that you were fishing for.
And even if they don't, what's so cool about that water is like you get to watch it all play out. Like they could swim straight up to your fly and look at it and be like, fuck that fly, and then skirt, then they're out of there. It's like
break
that
your heart.
Fake motherfucker. Like, I see you.
Psych.
You know, or it's like you're stripping and then they're coming like directly
Well, that's
at
part
you.
of like train too, right? You would think, or just extreme wild.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's, I mean,
I don't know enough yet about that.
I'm still pretty new to it, but just even folks who've been into it forever, like you can do everything right. Like permit fishing, they're like the holy grail.
Yeah, it's the sheep.
It really is.
That's
it's
the
a perfect
curl and a half. Yeah. Good analogy, good metaphor, and can do everything right. Just like Emily's saying, you can have the right flyer, they just come up and they're just like, no.
Not feeling that.
Or you can do like me and my first time ever saltwater fly fishing. I actually get a permit to grab, set the hook.
Trout set.
No, I did not fucking trout set. I did not do that
Good
once.
for you.
Yeah, I was so like
tip down, strip set.
Yep, and I didn't. The guide, my buddy saw it and he's like, it ate, and felt it. And I was like, what happened? Why didn't it work? I don't know, man. It just doesn't happen all the time. I'm just But second time ever, permit, eat on my own one-time fly. It was first time ever tying. So that to me was almost good. Is it like the fly that I tied on some fish I'd never seen? Fooled him.
Yeah. And that's like the huge thing, right? It's like when you're down there, it's like you strip set, you don't trout set. Because that when you trout set, it pulls the fly like out of their mouth, and it's like when you strip set, it makes it present appropriately, like a shrimp would move or a crab would move.
I've never done any of that, so that's new to me.
And that's like people's that saltwater fly fish for the first time. That's typically their first. You know, they could be the most. Yep. Yeah. They could be the most.
Well, if you don't know, you don't know.
Well, and you do know. You do know, but it's your natural reaction
when you
take it. Fucking, I got it, and it's like gone.
Later, bite.
That's right, man.
So, at what point do you pull the rod up? Once you're like he's on, strip, and then you're like.
Once you feel him on there, then it's
you can do the let go and up.
You strip set to set the hook.
Okay.
And then once they're on, it's like you can lift it up and then let them take line and start bringing it back in.
I think what helped me is all the years I've been chasing steely with a two-handed rod. You know, because I made that mistake many years ago. The first time I went steelhead fishing in the lower 48, swinging for days. Finally, get that grab, that reel, clicks, click, 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 got one, and just boom, trout set. And my buddy who was teaching me was sitting in the woods smoking a cigar in here. I bet you don't ever do that again. He's fucking right. So I think that really helped me.
Yeah. You'll only do it once.
You only do it once.
To realize that is not the move.
That's not what you do.
When you're like, and that could be your shot for the day, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, doesn't that just take unbelievable self-control and discipline to be like, don't do it?
I mean, kind of. It's
don't do it.
It's like hunting, man, to not get that buck fever, just to stay calm, cool, and collected, and like be like in the moment experience. But like, I need to do this at this moment. I don't need to spaz out and lose it. And you know, that's the difference in anglers, just like in hunters. Like some people can
hone it in,
be calm and cool and collected, and find that, and then sometimes you're just like
reaction book.
You know,
you know, I wondered. I've been fishing my whole life. My dad taught me. We've been doing fishing forever, but I still don't feel proficient. And I've been fishing for like 30 years.
How so? What do you mean? I feel proficient?
I feel the same way.
I feel as if like the question is like, when do you feel proficient enough to like be like, I'm going to start guiding? You know, that's like a tough question because my son wants to be a guide eventually. He's like, he's like a young guy. He wants to do this stuff.
Does he want a job?
And he's trying to do all this stuff. And that's what I'm telling him. I said, well, you're going to need to get a job and go learn it and do it all that. And to me, it's like, man, I've been doing this whole time. And I mean, sure, I'll bring a family and I could teach people. I feel proficient enough to like show someone that doesn't know
general techniques.
But if you had some dude that comes with all this shit from fucking Colorado, I'm like,
just simmed out from
what Bozeman? I do, you know, like, yeah. It's like, what is it? Is it one of those things kind of like the podcast? Like, we didn't know, we just fucking did it. You know what I'm saying?
Fake it till you make it.
Just go, just like, I'm guiding now? Or was there a point where like, man, I could make this into a business? You understand the question?
Yeah. Well, for me, knowing that I can make this into a passion, into a business, it was years of guiding, going to school, working for tons of outfitters, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. Like being an outfitter, I think, is different than being a guide. Like being an outfitter, you need to not only be a guide, but you need to know the business side of things. You need to know how to work with people. But for like your son's instance, on knowing like when can you be a guide, is you really just have to be good with people.
Yeah.
And feel confident in what you're doing.
And that's one thing that I told him, because he's kind of shy, as most like, you know, young boys are that are into outdoor stuff versus like, you know, hockey or whatever.
Yeah, he's good at it too.
You know, he's kind of a shy thing, but you're 100% correct on that. Like, it's a business, so you need to be a people person. You got to be able to communicate with the person who's paying you to take you out here.
Yep. No, and I think, you know, again, difference between guide and outfitter is, being a guide, you just need to be passionate about what you're doing and definitely have a skill set and a knowledge. But also at the same point, like when I was 20 years old and started guiding, I had countless clients who had been all over the world fly fishing and had been fly fishing way longer than I had. But I knew the water that I was fishing. I knew what I was doing. And the greatest thing about fly fishing and fishing in general, it's limitless. It's bottomless. There's always another trick. There's always another knot. There's always another setup. You can always learn. But if you know the water that you're guiding and you know the fish that you're taking these people who have way more experience than you do, but they don't have that experience where
they might have that experience in wherever they're from.
Yeah.
But not the river that they're on that day.
Yeah. A local guide knows his local waters. And then after that, you branch out, to saltwater, to jungle species, to whatever. And then you become
well versed.
Take
it wherever you want.
Yeah. But like for someone getting into it, you need to know your knots. You need to know your water. And you need to be good with people. That's it. The rest will come. If you can do those 3 basic things. I mean, one of our senior staff, who was a multi-day raft guide for lots of years, great at whitewater, great on the sticks, had dabbled in fly fishing a little bit, but was great with people. We taught him the water. And yes, most of his clients that he fished with had fished way more than he has.
Yeah.
But he knew the water. He knew the fish. And he knows how to be good with people. And he's one of our best guides there is.
Well, I think 2 of those 3 are teachable.
Oh, yes.
I tell you what,
the water and the sticks and not, but the people person thing is like almost a natural thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's what's probably going to get you that extra tip.
Oh,
Your
100%.
fun I think about like Dustin and Dallas and like Dustin, our buddy, like gift of gab. Like he will just make the day fun, enjoyable, even if they don't catch shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like he knows the keen eye, but like ultimately I think people leave just like they had a great time regardless of the quality of
the experience versus the fishing.
Yeah.
On the nose, bud, it's the experience.
Yeah.
Getting out. I mean, you do get those, not to equate it back to hunting, but you do get those headhunters. Like, I want to catch a 30-inch rainbow.
Oh, yeah, no, you can equate it.
I want to catch a 30-inch rainbow. I need to kill my sheep. I need to kill my brown bear.
Yeah.
Like, the trip is over if that doesn't happen.
A bucket list check off the board thing.
Most people, they want that experience. And, like, most people who are real hunters know that if they're doing this guided hunt, they're paying for the chance for it to happen. It's not a sealed deal. Like, it's
correct.
Hunting, it's fishing. There's so many variables that can just, sorry, it's not happening today. And if you provide a good experience and have a good time and literally become their friend, become their fishing buddy, become their hunting buddy, you're going to be a good guide. A good guide is a chameleon. You can play to your crowd. You always need to be yourself. But if you get a bunch of uber conservative Mormon whatever, you don't want to be dropping F-bombs like we are every 2 seconds.
Know your audience.
Know your audience. But then same thing too, if you get folks who are like,
we have a lot of Mormons that listen to this.
I'm sure.
Not anymore.
They listen once and they're like, not for me.
Yeah. But just
we only burn Mormon wood. I don't know if you're
just to play to your crowd and read people. And yeah, you're right, you can't teach that. But if your son, if he's a little shy and a little laid back, just relying on his skills of like, I know this is what I do, I'm polite, I'm listening to you, I'm treating you like a person, he'll go a long way, man. And as he gets older, he'll get that confidence.
Well, and even when we were like up in the bird the other day, like those guys were asking you about like your repeat customers, like like what percentage of your clients are repeaters?
Oh, 60 to 70%. Yeah.
Like, I mean,
for a multi-days, probably even more.
Yeah.
Because it's we all know living here, we can kind of get a little jaded. Like Alaska is one of the truly most amazing places in the world. Our daily drives to work are awe-inspiring, jaw-dropping. And then as you guys know from getting into planes and helis and getting out, like just the opportunity to see what we see, even if we don't catch the fish we want, shoot the animal we want, just that experience. And for, a lot of our clientele, I mean, they spend in a year for fishing what we paid for our houses, a down payment for a house. But then we get a lot of folks who they've, their mom worked at Walmart, their dad was a cop. They've been working overtime, they've been working extra shifts to come for their one trip to Alaska. And just that experience of getting out here and seeing what we don't take for granted, but what we love. I mean, that's I mean, it's priceless, man.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking when you were talking about Mateo and his aspirations of guiding and your experiences and what the people, I went to this really cool like seminar for Disney years ago down in Orlando, and they talked about
You were going to be Mickey Mouse.
I'm getting to that. Yeah, the guy was talking about just their culture and how they train their people. You don't just get hired and serve sodas. You go through like a training process, and you actually qualify to be a cast member. And one of their big things was the fact that there are people there that saved their life savings, or they saved for years to load their family up and fly out there and experience that overpriced, crazy, experience. And I'm not saying that a fly out fishing trip or hunting trip is overpriced. It is market value is what it is. But the point is that, to your point, the mom, Walmart, the dad, cop, the pipe fitter, the whoever, a lot of times these might be their first and only opportunity to experience what they're doing. So as a guide, as an outfitter, one has to appreciate the fact that somebody might have just saved for 10 years to get on that plane, to get on your boat, to throw your gear. And you need to understand that it's all about what they leave with, minus a 30-inch rainbow, 16-inch rainbow, or no rainbows.
Yep.
But did they have fun? Did they enjoy it? Is the experience what it should have been?
Yep.
That's probably the thing for Mateo to really grasp onto, is that the fact that we are jaded. We can just,
100%.
You can save $1,500 and jump on a plane and fly out and go fishing every other weekend.
Yep.
We have that access.
Yep.
A lot of us have moose camps to go to every year. We go to Kodiak every year. We do this thing.
Yep.
A lot of these guys get one chance.
One chance.
Guys and gals get one chance.
Yep.
Guy might be retired, worked for 40 fucking years as a whatever. And, it's something that needs to be considered in, the grand scheme.
And I think you nailed it, man. Like, as a guide, you have that privilege to take that person, that guy or that gal,
privilege.
to get to experience what is our Tuesday morning at work, is their trip of a lifetime, and that is a privilege. And to share that experience with folks and help them feel that stokedness that we feel by being able to hop on a plane or go to moose camp. Like, this is their one chance. Like, for your son, Mateo, just to realize how lucky he is to be able to do that. I mean, like, most guides, there's two types of fishing guides for the most part. There are guides who will do it for a few years, like they're seasonal workers, they're ski bums in the winter, they guide fishing or rafting in the summertime, and they're seasonal. They're doing it in between jobs till they get a real job. And then there are guides who are lifers, like me. Like, this is what
I'm on this earth for.
What you do.
Yep.
And I can't tell you how many times the lifers will get almost more stoked and more excited over the fish than the clients do, because we're just so jazzed on it, and that's like being a guide for so long and seeing the, basically the two different types of guides. Like, that's the difference. Those who feel that we do have a privilege to do this, that we are lucky enough to do this and experience this many times over, versus the dude who's just like, oh yeah, I did it for a summer, it was cool, and now I'm working in an office and I was a fishing guide for a summer and blah blah blah.
I have a question about your guides. How many do you have right now?
10.
And how, like, what is the duration of time that, like, the average out of those 10 have been with you?
My senior staff has been with me for 6 years.
So almost like since the inception.
My head guide has been with me 8 years.
So cool.
Yeah, they're lifers.
So you have retention.
Yeah. We just lost a husband and wife duo. They were great. They'd been with me for a few years. I flew them in too many damn helicopters. They're off becoming helicopter pilots.
So they're still doing the thing.
Oh yeah, they're still doing the thing. But I miss them.
Just not for fish hounds.
Yeah. Fishing's cool, but these helicopters are kind of sick.
Helicopters are so fucking rad. Heli skiing.
Yeah, we did.
I want to switch gears a little bit and get on some not like technical gear stuff, but
I'm a gear geek. Let's go.
One of my first actual questions that I'm like, just in general, like, why are drift boats only used on the Kenai? Like, you don't go to Willow or some of these other Golcana or some of the, you don't never see a drift boat anywhere but Kenai. Like, why?
You'll occasionally see some drift boats on the Willow. The reason why in years past you hadn't seen any drift boats up in our neck of the woods is because the takeout was atrocious for some strange well, I know the reason. They had 3 massive boulders at the takeout on one of our main rivers so that people wouldn't illegally launch jet boats, so that they had to go pay at one of the state campgrounds.
Okay.
So getting a trailer down to a drift boat was impossible. Now that the state park has realized that that was a dumb idea, you can now drive a trailer down to the boat ramp, and we have seen drift boats up in our neck of the woods.
Okay.
But the main reason you don't see as many drift boats on our rivers up north is they're rocky, you know.
Okay.
And just like we were talking earlier about
More
the jet
technical,
boats,
right? Trying to get around.
yeah, a little more
obstacles
technical. But
and-
like, so I've had countless drift boats. Like, drift boats are fun, they're comfortable, but if
We're
you
talking the aluminum
yeah
drift boat.
Yep,
Okay, yeah.
a dory. Yeah.
Yep, dory.
If you hit a rock in a drift boat, it's jarring. I mean, everyone
yeah,
gets
violent.
thrown forward. Yeah, it's violent.
Doesn't bounce off like a
you,
rubber
you
raft.
hit yeah, exactly. You hit a rock and raft, and it's like, oh, we bounced off a rock. It's okay, you know, and keep going. But the main reason we rock rafts is not only is it gentler if you do hit something, but, you know, with all of our fly out trips, you can fold up a raft, throw it into a plane or helicopter, and it can fly out. It's pretty hard to do that with a drift boat.
What's your favorite raft brand?
Man, I've been doing this so long, I really don't have a favorite.
Or is there
brand.
something you're looking for? Like, let's say I got a few buddies looking for rafts.
Yeah.
I have a Alaska Outfitters 14
Great boats.
foot
Yep, I have a
raft.
couple of those. Yep.
It's not the fanciest fucking NRS or whatever,
Yeah.
but it fucking does the
Sweet.
job.
Yeah.
I have like 3 or 4 Alaskan Outfitters.
But you know, as you look at the different rafts and you see different tube sizes and what is on the bottom of the raft and how bug that seal comes up and is it on the whole thing, and you know, there's all these different brands and all that. Maybe what are some of the top, like if someone's looking for some good family boat, what's some of the top brands you maybe want to look for?
It really depends on what you want to do. Like, if you got a family and you're going to keep a boat inflated on a trailer like you would a drift boat, you know, PVC, when PVC boats first came out, I was very hesitant. I was always a big fan of hyalon or Orca. They were a much more durable material, and I always thought, you know, PVC was crap. But after having used a bunch of PVC boats, the materials are awesome. It really just depends what you want a boat for. If you want a boat that you're going to roll up every winter, put on a trailer, roll it up, go on a fly out west, up north, down to the southeast, a boat that has hyalon or Pinnell rolls up a lot smaller and is easier to transport and lighter. But honestly,
So what's mine then? Because it doesn't roll up like that good.
no, that's a PVC
It's a
boat.
motherfucker.
Yeah. So that's a good boat. Like, if you're going to be trailering it with
I
a
have to put a
family.
longboard underneath it to like get it up in the driveway.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, any major producer out there, whether it be a local Alaskan or a bigger brand like NRS or Sotar or whatever, they all make good boats. And not to sound like an ignorant American, but all the PVC boats are basically made in the same 2 factories overseas.
Yeah, in
It's just
Korea,
got a
right?
different label put on them.
Yeah.
So with regards to that, the biggest difference, I think, honestly, between PVC and like hyalon or an Orca material is patching. PVC boats.
Hypalon? How do you spell that?
HYPALON.
Hypalon.
Yeah. So it has a new trademark name. It's called Orca.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what the new Sotar stuff's coming out
Correct.
with? Okay, I
Correct.
seen that, and the reasoning is that it folds up better for a
Rolls,
plane.
it has
It's
less
smaller.
memory. It folds up a lot smaller.
But what about that durability? I mean, I've never had to patch mine, and mine's been like multiple moose hunts and floats and bashes and like dragged and like off the trailer.
When PVC first came out, I was super against it. Now, granted, I've been in this for over 20 years. Big gear geek. I was like, oh, PVC, that's plastic. That's what you make water bottles out of. But after having had experiences with them, and how easy they are to patch and actually how strong they are. I have multiple PVC boats. I have multiple hyalon orca boats. Like there's just like everything, there's trade-offs. But as far as durability, they're great. They hold up well. They patch. They actually, in my opinion, PVC boats, like if you're out in the field on a moose hunt or a fishing trip and you gash a boat, you deflate that tube, you throw on the glue, you set a rock on it, and a couple hours that boat's going to float again just fine.
Yeah.
It's actually more durable than I originally gave it credit for. Thank you.
Yeah.
But really just what you want to do with a boat. Do you want to pack it up, throw it into an airplane? Is it going to stay on a trailer? Are you going to leave the frame on it? That would kind of dictate it. And also size is the most important thing. Like, are you taking up a family of 4? Is it you and your buddy? Are you going for just a fishing trip where you want to have a small boat they can throw in the back of your pickup truck, 2 dudes fish off of and be fine? Or is it a boat where you want to be able to go fishing with a couple buddies, go on a moose hunt, go on a caribou hunt, throw a couple dead animals in there? Those are really more the questions that you need to ask yourself as far as what size, how big. But all manufacturers out there are pretty darn good.
Sounds like I need more boats.
You always need more boats.
I mean, Alaskans, like, that's our problem.
Well, I'm surprised that there hasn't been an Alaskan company that's created an Alaskan.
There are. Sotar has an Alaskan. Gary King has an Alaskan. Alaskan Outfitters. They were an Alaskan-based.
But it seems like they're all done now. Like you can't even like.
Gary King's still making boats. The Alaska series, the Outfitters series. He's sadly not producing boats anymore. He had a bunch of good boats that a lot of us had, and that were super good. And Sotar still has an Alaskan.
Okay.
Are those all found at the Alaska Raft and Kayak? Is that where you buy it?
They have
the Gary Kings and
Gary King's through Gary King, Alaska Raft. Well, shout out to Rob, by the way. He was at the BHA giveaway. He put in a whole bunch of tickets. He was really hoping to win.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Oh,
cool. But there's tons of good manufacturers out there. It really just comes down to what you want to do with a boat before you figure out. There's not one better brand, in my opinion. I have 3 of about everything, and they're all good.
Yeah. I would say, like you asked about the Alaska, I think that's more of like he has the, I wouldn't say permit, but the whatever to distribute or sell contract for NRS.
Yep.
And what else? Air.
Yep.
And, are those like Gucci
maybe
brands?
Otter? Does he have Otter too?
I don't think he has. Well, it's also, NRS is an amazing company. It was started by a dude from Idaho, and he actually just sold the company back to the employees themselves. Oh. Really cool story.
Mining and diving style.
Yes, very cool story. NRS, phenomenal brand. When you have an issue, you call up the people in Moscow, Idaho, and you talk to them, and they're NRS, they're Star. I don't think they're Air. I can't remember right now, but there's NRS and Alaska Raft and Kayak. Great people, great bands. They stand behind their stuff. Good customer service.
Great customer service.
Great. Yeah. NRS, in this digital day and age where most pro orders you're just filling out online. NRS, you call, you talk to a human. They're great.
Yep. And I will say a big shout out to, like, as you say, the evolution of these materials. A lot has come along down the line as far as even like water bags.
Oh, dry bags.
You know what I'm saying? Dry bags and stuff like that. Like, they're dope now.
Yep.
Like, you can get the one with the zipper and the duffel, or you want this.
Yep.
Like, back at, like, 10 years ago, it was like...
Oh, I know, bud.
8 trash bags,
or
and wrap it up.
The Walmart dry bag?
Would not recommend the Walmart dry bag. In Colorado, it was
one-time use.
Yeah, Colorado where it barely ever rains. It's fine, but here in Alaska,
holy shit! Even when it does rain, the stitching still leaks.
Like my mouth on.
Did you got a hole in your lip?
You got a hole in your lip.
Some smoky scotch.
We'll be right back. I got to use the bathroom. I think Adam does too.
Brokes and seal. Tailored Restoration, 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Tailored has an emergency response number with trained professionals available to help you at any time, day or night. Give them a call in Anchorage Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks, make an appointment today at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Since 2008, Serrano's has Anchorage's own new generation of Old Cocina. Their menu showcases the passion and love of their rich heritage and unique family recipes that have been passed down through the generations. Serrano's goal is to embrace and display trad flavors using the best ingredients that are available. They focus on making everything from scratch daily. In-house menu includes handcrafted corn tortillas, salsas, carne asada, and chorizo. But don't take their word for it. Experience their tradition and sabor for yourself. Locations on Tudor and Northern Lights, both with new tequila bars. Check out their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
The Connoisseur Lounge, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. The Connoisseur Lounge is Palmer's first locally owned and operated cannabis retailer. Their beautiful store is located at 226 Evergreen Avenue. The Connoisseur Lounge has exclusive cannabis products such as Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Super Glue, and one of our favorites, Sugar Cookies. And if you're not into the flower, the Connoisseur can hook you up with edibles, vape supplies, and a ton of CBD options for all your health and inflammation needs. Check out their daily deals at theconnoisseurlounge.net, or even better, stop by the lounge today. Remember, you must be 21 years of age to enter their store.
That's what he gets to do. It's awesome.
Actually, can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I was going to ask Adam, and I was thinking about it. If you've ever done any sort of guiding, and I've done like little guiding. I had the yeah.
See, I guided you right into that caribou call.
And like I had the privilege of just deckhanding on a
Fun.
a Valdez silver season.
Great.
6 packs every day. Jump out in the sound and go troll for silvers. Occasionally we got a halibut, full day halibut trip.
Sure.
For folks, and it was something where I was like, man, it's hard day after day after
Grind.
day,
Oh, yeah.
especially
Grind.
as a young man or woman, guiding, whether it's like raft guiding, fish guiding, maybe not so much hunting because it's a little bit more remote as far as going out for 10 days and then coming back and going out for 10 days. I think, when you're guiding on a 6-pack in Seward or Whittier or Valdez, you have civilization, you have bars, you have distractions.
Yeah.
And Adam, what I was talking about was the day-to-day grind of a guide. And I think the start of the season, you're energetic, you're focused, you're hungry. And
Is there a set amount of days? Like, we got 76 days.
Oh man, we start guiding first part of May and run all the way through mid-October, and then we do ice fishing in the winter.
Okay,
It's
case in point. All right,
it's a grind.
that's a fucking grind,
It's a fucking grind.
right?
To be on.
Good days and bad days, and you said that, and to be on. But to get up early every morning, sometimes after you fucking partied the night before,
Which you do.
which people do.
I do.
And then
And wrestle.
And then get your mind
Let's talk about that later.
then get your mind right, and then you get a client on there that might not be exactly a fun person who wants his 40-inch ram or his 30-inch rainbow that George is like one fish that might get caught in this one
Sure.
watershed once in a while, and he caught it, so
And then they fucking ate it.
before the guides came down. But I just feel like it's what is the main, not to like keep diving into that guided part. I wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, man.
What is it that gets you out of bed every day, gets you off the cot every day, gets you your first leg thrown over that boat or that
Coffee
that
and
rail?
nicotine.
Okay, well, that helps.
And Scotch,
Zin,
Scotch or
Zin
whiskey.
and black coffee.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Zin 5 level,
like
whatever that is.
Like you're saying, like early season, everyone's stoked, everyone's happy. We're like, oh, we're on the water, we're doing this. But then in our company, we call August Angry August,
the dog days,
because it's just like, especially this last year. I mean, it just rained and rained and rained and rained and rained and rained and flood stage and flood stage. and you're trying to make the best out of it, you know, and what you really got to do. And when you're waking up in your sleeping bag and you're like, all right, I got to pack up these same wet, soggy tents and be happy and do this. And then you do that. And then you throw in some Baileys in your coffee, and then you're rowing the boat and someone catches a fish and they're fucking stoked. And you're like, all
right,
okay,
shake it off.
All right, we're good. And then you come back into, you know, this is on multi-day trips. Like when you're day guiding,
sure.
Day guiding's fucking easy. Like everyone says they want to be a multi-day guide. I'm like, try it.
Do you?
Yeah. Do you really? Because it
want
is.
To do s'mores every night?
It's a ton of work, you know. But at the end of the day, most of us who have had success at it, you know, once you get your clients wined and dined and you feed them, you pick up a fly rod and you go fucking fish, and you're out in these amazing places that take a lot of money to get to, and you're able to experience this as your job. Like I encourage my guides to fish. This is what we do. And just a little sidebar, it's so funny, like clients ask me like, well, what do you do for fun, man? I'm like,
doing it,
I'm
bro.
like, this without you. Like we fish, like
there's
guides,
a cancellation, I'm going fishing.
Yeah, guides should fish, and I encourage my boys and gals to get out and fish. Now obviously when you're guiding, you don't want to be just raking in fish right in front of your clients when they
this
should
is how you do it right here,
Bam!
boys.
Here,
See,
hand
told
me
you it was
the
right there.
Idiot.
Oh, so many people.
How'd you miss
Here,
that?
you show me. It's like,
Yeah.
wham, like, fishing guide, dude. But yeah, just to get out and really just be in the moment of where you are and what you're doing. Like I said, it's a privilege, and most of us who do this long enough really get that. Like, dude, we get to fly in planes and helicopters and carry guns and drink beer, and we're not shooting people. We're not shooting things. Like, this is our fucking job, and we get paid to do it and enjoy it. But I think deep down, like when you're grinding come August, it can be tough. But for us, the light at the end of the tunnel is our steelhead season.
The means to an end.
Yeah, we're able to get out and go chase steel.
The finale.
Yeah.
Well, that brings me to a question. So you're doing you. You're not guiding. You're fishing for Adam.
Yep.
What is your favorite fish to catch?
Steelhead.
Yeah. I had a feeling that was going to be the answer, given the segue there.
Yeah.
Reason being?
They're the unicorns, man. Like, they're just wild, seagoing rainbow trout. Like, to science, on Corius micus, it's a rainbow trout. There is no difference between a steelhead and a rainbow. But there is. I mean, there's a lot of science behind that, how rainbows can interbreed with steelhead, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But to catch a rainbow trout that, for whatever reasons, millions of years ago, when all the other fish are swimming upriver, these crazy fuckers are like, let's go down. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, there's some good food out there.
And they went out to the ocean. They survived being caught by commercial fishermen, salmon sharks, orca fucking whales, seals, and then come back to the rivers. You know, like Emily and I were geeking about saltwater fishing. Like, anything that swims in the ocean is way stronger because it's the fucking ocean.
Yeah, like, predators. Everything's a predator.
It's the fucking ocean.
Yeah. The big eat the little.
Exactly.
And the bigger eat the big.
100%. And when you're able to catch this fish that goes through that whole process and comes back to a river after being in the fucking ocean and tangling and touching those wild fish, I mean, there's nothing like it. Especially, you know, when you were talking earlier about trout set. You know, like when I first steelheaded in the lower 48, learning how to throw a spey rod way back in the day with, you know, traditional spey line, double taper, where if everything wasn't just perfect, it didn't work. And you're so used to setting the hook. And with swinging, you let that fly swing, create a profile. That fish comes up, grabs, and it ting, 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 ting. And to fight every impulse in your body to not just pull that fucking rod up and pull that fly right out of its mouth, but to feel that fish grab that fly, turn, feel that reel take off, and then put tension on, and then just all hell breaks loose. And the next thing you know, that fish is, you know, way up river, fucking cartwheeling. You're like, oh, that is my fucking fish. You know, I mean, that's just a, you know, very awesome experience that anyone who's into fly fishing should experience. Or even if you're not into fly fishing.
We're gonna test your guys' trivia skills now.
Damn it.
Jack came through with the trivia. Jack's
Yeah,
trivia. We're
right.
still
You
working on the
mentioned that
music.
earlier.
We're still working on the music, but we'll get there.
Working on
Like
that.
Jeopardy style music is like what?
Yeah, but you can't use that.
Right. Jeopardy type.
Yeah, we need Jeopardy.
Like a
No,
bebop. Like
a bebop.
a bop of some
Yeah.
kind.
I'm talking
the
about it a
hip-hop
lot.
Jeopardy.
We need to
The
be
hip-hop.
about it a lot.
Yeah. Why don't you mix up something
Yeah,
for us?
man, you
We
got
actually had something. We lost it. We like deleted the button on accident.
Yeah, it's gone.
It was awesome, but
We need something else.
rest in peace, trivia tunes.
Okay. Jack's
got?
trivia, brought to you by yet to be determined.
Double shovel.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
It will be
We'll see.
tonight. All right, Jack. You get
Wait
this
on
one.
the check. You know what I'm saying?
You silly goose. You got to do that in the mic.
Oh,
I did it earlier.
All of them.
Did it earlier
I
right
was,
in the
I was
mic.
hearing a,
Chug it. Do another one.
I was hearing a call, and I'm like,
Water.
No, show's over.
I was
Pause.
so confused. I was hearing a call, and I'm looking at everybody like, where's it coming
We'll
from?
be right back, guys.
This is an unscheduled break.
All right. The world's biggest fly fishing target. What's it called?
Tarpon?
What do you mean?
Permit.
Like the biggest fish?
The world's biggest fly fishing target.
Oh, like size of actual species?
No, like what's it called?
No, like what are they?
What are they after?
Like what's the most popular fish?
Not
to
most
go out?
popular.
Oh.
The world's biggest.
I'm gonna say
fly
like a
fishing target.
tuna.
If you're going out there
Oh,
fly
largest
fishing, what is
species.
it? What is the biggest target?
Shit.
Mako shark.
Tuna.
I said tarpon.
Oh, okay.
Tuna.
Now this is Jack's trivia.
Can we fact check?
Arapaima pida
Arapaima. Nope. Makos are bigger than Arapaima. I'll take that to the. I'll fight that.
So
Arapaima, I know
they will
what that
fly
is.
fish for makos.
Oh yeah, man. There's several dudes off the coast of California targeting Mako sharks on a fly rod, and a Mako shark is way bigger than an
This is
Arapaima.
like 12 footers.
So
or
what is it?
something like
Arapaima. Can you look that up?
Yeah, I
actually,
will.
Arapaima.
So I'm
Is that
actually
like a megalodon?
going to South America
cousin?
this coming summer. We're guiding, hosting.
I feel like
trips.
sharks are like a different thing, though.
Well, you say biggest fish, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
is it a fish? I don't know. It's a fish, but it's not. It's like a-
No, Arapaima.
Oh,
are
these are the
awesome.
ones that are in
South America.
Oh my
South-
god.
Oh, maybe
America.
you should have said river then.
Yeah,
would've
river
said
versus
river fish,
ocean.
yeah.
Okay,
would've
that
said
was someone's bad.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
Arapaima
Like
are
that.
awesome. I cannot wait to
Arapaima.
fish for those this year.
Holy cow! Does it got like the tail tapers weird like that?
How about
That
this
is
one
funny.
here? Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, look at that.
But I feel like
picture.
they're a tarpon that like,
Arapaima. Arapaima.
yeah, they're
Arapaima.
amazing.
So is that like South America?
correct?
yeah, I wouldn't have gotten
Holy
that.
shit!
Yeah.
Look at that thing.
Arapaima.
So
are
I remember
awesome.
My
watching.
dude's out there in his number
this,
9
this guy
Barcelona
right
jersey.
Yeah.
This dude right here. This
Oh
first
yeah,
time I
yeah,
ever
yeah.
saw those.
Oh, my
things.
son is addicted to that.
Yeah, river
Yeah,
monsters.
monster
River
fish or whatever.
River
Yeah.
monsters.
Okay, so freshwater fish.
Okay.
Arapaima.
Okay, that
All right.
makes sense. Was I?
Okay, so let's go ahead with the same, along with the same question. How big? What was the maximum recorded weight for the species?
We're talking Arapaima.
And second part is the length. So weight and length.
Oh, I'm not gonna nail this on the head, but they're huge. They're like,
Oh, huge.
yeah, huge is the technical term.
So I'm waiting for Adam to go so
Yeah.
I can guess.
100.
So I need
Over
pounds.
100
Okay, I want pounds and then I want meters. That's how they
200
answer.
meters. We are in fucking Alaska.
I
This
know.
is still the standard
This is-
system. I don't even know.
I-
God
we
damn
have
it,
to-
Jack.
1.2
Jack,
meters.
you know,
Well,
this
you
is-
might as well ask us in fucking kilos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? I mean,
Well,
like, what are we doing here?
Carry the 2 and make it a meters.
I want to say like 220 pounds.
220.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking 150 to 175, 5 to 7 feet.
That's exactly what I was fucking.
I'm sure it was.
I'm gonna say 187 pounds, and
2
it
ounces.
was 5.5 meters long.
Are you fucking Googling it right now,
No,
Emily?
You'll get kicked off this stage.
5.5 meters, 187 pounds.
5.5 meters. You are so good with the metric system.
That's huge.
Well, think of a meter.
Okay.
No. What did I say?
A meter
5.5?
stick is
No,
about. like,
yeah.
sorry, 3.5
So
meters.
5 of those.
3.5 meters.
Yeah.
Sorry, 3.5 meters. That's still
Okay.
too long.
You're
2.5
correct.
meters. Oh,
3.07 meters.
How heavy?
my first answer.
No shit.
Yeah. And the weight is 440 pounds.
Holy
Fuck.
I said
Bullshit. Let me
220.
say this.
I don't have the actual. He just sent me the
I'll
question.
Google
He
this
looked it up. I'm
motherfucker.
sure he looked it up. No, his trivia is legit. All right, that's monstrous.
Yeah.
440 pounds.
What pound?
Three
What pound
meters.
test? What pound? What kind of setup are they using on this beast?
A fucking winch.
A Warren winch.
Yeah.
What was the fish again? The para what?
Arapaima.
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 I said paramima. No. Arapaima.
Nope.
There it is.
There's a Y in there.
I just wanted to see the.
There it is. 440. 440 and even 3.07. That's what I said.
4 men holding that thing.
It does say 220 pounds. That I mean, I didn't Google that, but I said 220. That's wild.
400 pounds is what you said.
But the maximum recorded weight was 440.
Yeah.
While the longest recorded length was verified at 3 meters. And for all us Americans, that's 10 feet.
That looks like a 10-footer.
That's
right there.
bananas.
Look at that thing. And there's a picture there. Google it.
God damn, that thing was caught
Arapaima.
on a rod.
It's
reel.
funny. That looks
what's
like a
that?
tarp. I mean, it's got scales like a tarpon, and like it looks
I
like
mean,
it's
do you
got
like
a soft
fillet that
mouth.
thing with like a samurai sword or what? Just one
Just
slice.
like a moose, you bust out the chainsaw.
Yeah.
That's right. Get the DeWalt out.
Goodness.
God damn, dude.
All right. Question number 2.
Let's
3.
go.
Alaska based. No excuses.
Thank God.
The Alaska
Still get it
State
wrong.
record sport caught halibut was caught where and what was the weight? I'll give you the year, 1996. It's been a while.
I'm going to say Homer.
Okay.
And then after that, I just eat turkeys and chickens, man. I'll let those big ones go. Let them make babies.
I'm gonna say like 900 pounds.
Okay. And where?
I mean,
Sport caught.
I'm gonna say my instinct is to say Homer, but like
300 pounds.
Okay. 300 Homer. 900
Homer.
Homer.
Petersburg, Alaska, 429 pounds.
He fucking Googled it.
You're pretty close. You're a
I
little
did not
cheater,
swear to
aren't
God,
you?
no. Motherfuckers, you
No.
cheat.
Cheating motherfuckers. You got laptops
I'm just thinking
and phones
about
in front of you.
the southeast has
Okay.
good halibut fishing.
It does.
459
Oh my God,
pounds
it's way off.
on Alaska.
On Alaska?
On Alaska.
On Alaska.
Nice.
Oh, out on the fucking Aleutian chain, dude.
Yeah.
God damn it. See, there's so many. I said Petersburg. I'm like, well, it's like a port town.
Yeah, that's a good.
Pick
guess.
your poison on that, right?
Yeah.
Homer's
I mean,
a good choice. I'm sure some 300-400 pounders have been.
Some big boys pulled out of Homer.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, let's switch gears. I want to talk about rafting accidents. Because I'm sure you have a couple stories.
Whoa, wait. Do I kind of win the trivia?
You kind of
So I
win the
kind of
trivia.
nailed the paramount.
did.
Yep, pour a shot.
It's the scotch is gone. Do you guys
There's
want the
other
spicy
shit
I
out
got
there.
vodka?
some good brown water. I see a bottle of Buffalo
oh,
Trace.
shit.
Yeah, get
you want
that
some of
Buffalo
that,
Trace
dog?
out there. Come on.
Man, we do got
That's
lots
all
of
you
brown
had
water.
to say.
We do got brown water all over this.
Fucking Tuesdays.
I'm glad to see you're drinking some brown water because I remember one of the shows you were whining about drinking brown water.
Oh, that's me probably.
Oh, is that you?
I get instant
Heartburn.
heartburn. Yeah, I'll still do it and suffer the consequences, but I will.
Well, and I think it was what the mayor brought because it was.
Oh, that was the
spicy as
jalapeno
fuck.
shit. Yeah. So I bring up the scary float thing because just like I feel there should be a class on how to back up a trailer into a
Agreed.
anywhere, okay, especially into a harbor. There should be a class on how to raft, how to oar. I don't know if there is one. I haven't seen one.
There are.
There are, okay.
There are.
I never took a class. I learned by some old guy who just took me right on the fucking worst spot in the worst place. And
Said,
I
"Figure it out."
figured out or died.
Put you right on the corner. Like,
But I
good
took
luck,
many
son.
of friends and taught them how to raft. And of course, there's alcohol and they're drinking and then they think they know where they're at, but they've never been here. So why are you
Save
in
it
the
for
front?
the shore, boys
And then-
and girls.
They flip, they catch a sweeper, they jump off, they think it's shallow, it's not. Like, we got names for Kyle's Rock and Dennis's Corner and this all this stuff.
How'd you hear Kyle's Rock?
Okay, so my friend,
We have multiple Kyle's Rocks.
you have a Kyle's Rock?
I have a Kyle's Rock.
Okay, so my Kyle's Rock is
this the same Kyle?
I hope not. No, Kyle never ever went back again. So when you do the upper Kenai and you hit that 90 at the Russian,
It's like I want
okay, and there's that wall,
Yeah.
you got a backstroke because there's all those waves, and then at the end there's that big rock.
Yeah.
So I warned him about this, and I said, "What, just avoid the whole thing and just go to the right." Doesn't listen, goes right into the rock. My boy is big boy. He's probably like 380
That's a big boy.
on a like double pontoon, probably not big enough for that stature.
Like single man pontoon.
Single man pontoon,
Oh, God.
gets the left pontoon up onto the rock. He's trying to do this move,
The shimmy.
and then the water just takes him and just dips the back of his raft and just does a full backflip into the water. Gone, raft's gone, everything's gone, and so that's been Kyle's rock ever since. So I'm curious on some of your stories on what you got to have some.
Oh man, we could
I
be
have one of
here.
those?
Yeah. I mean, we could be here for hours on my.
Well, let's hear Kyle's.
So
Why is it Kyle's rock?
my Kyle's Rock is a former employee, super good dude from the lower 48, and on one of our.
From where exactly?
What's that?
From where exactly?
He's from Washington.
Okay.
Good dude.
Got some river
A
experience.
lot of good listeners out in Washington.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, Kyle's awesome. He works for another company who we're good friends with and work with closely. But yeah, Kyle's Rock is on one of our remote rivers, and my head guide, super experienced. The water was a little higher, and they could have taken a sneak around this rapid, and this is a legit rapid. It's a hard river left, river goes hard right. There is a guard rock at the entrance of the rapid where you got to get one stroke in before the guard rock, move the oar, drop the oar back in, hit the eddy of the guard rock, point your nose. I love looking down, seeing my pink fingernails from my daughter. Point
Only
your
on the right
nose.
hand, too.
Yeah,
I like that part.
She didn't want to do the left hand.
Yeah.
Swivel the boat, point your nose at the big boulder, and then you hit this big pour over wave. Like, it's solid 3+ rapid. But he did not hit the move that he needed to do, and it was so funny. God bless him, because he's like, as soon as I missed the stroke, I just closed my eyes and held on. I was like, dude, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to. And that boat just got wrapped and pinned. Yeah, everyone was okay. Everything was fine. Got the boat.
Oh, his clients in the boat and everything.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was full on. But yeah, they made it out. Everything was fine. No one got hurt. Boat got recovered. Caught fish, but yeah, that's our Kyle's Rock.
Oh, people went in the water though.
Sort of. It wasn't a full on.
A lot
swim.
of water came in.
Oh yeah, the boat was fully wrapped. We had to. My head guide had to cut a bunch of trees out under the water with a chainsaw to get everything.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
So you guys raft with chainsaws?
Yes, we do.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's
part of like early season, like
Yeah.
like I don't want to say like scouting, but
well.
like
Every year on all the rivers, we go through early season and zip stuff
Especially
out.
those
Clean stuff
Matsu.
up.
Yeah. We clean stuff out. But
does anybody else guide up there also, and do they do the same?
This one particular river that you've been on, there was
My
another
favorite?
outfitter. Yeah,
Got
but
it.
he doesn't guide up there anymore.
Campbell?
It's just, yes, Little Campbell Creek.
Right out of Upper Huffman area.
It is in the Upper Huffman area. Stop telling everyone.
No, sorry.
It's only on a mug and sweatshirt.
Just bring a chainsaw, boys and girls.
So
Bring a
you're the
chainsaw.
only one that goes and does that
Yeah,
river.
but
You
yeah,
do that
we-
initial cleanup.
We always care. I mean, on that river with all the flood stages, we had chainsaws.
Yeah.
Bring a fly rod, bring a chainsaw.
I mean, and are they like? I'm thinking about that too. Like nowadays, they have like lighter weight, like battery powered ones. Or are you guys going full?
I'm a fan of two-stroke.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got to smell the smoke,
Yeah.
baby.
I know. But like, if weight's an issue, you want to bring beer, you want to bring a chainsaw, or both.
Yeah.
And like,
The battery chainsaw things, like I've used one of them. One of my guides had one of those little DeWalt's. That's wow.
Doesn't make it.
But it's so
Doesn't,
weird. It's
doesn't
so quiet.
cover it,
It's just
dude.
like,
It's not enough.
am I doing anything?
You can't smell anything?
2-stroke, steel guy all the way.
You a Husqvarna guy or steel? Steel.
I
Okay.
went to get another saw this last year, and the steels were sold out of the saw I wanted.
Oh, no.
So I had to buy a Husky, and I got a buddy who owns a tree service company. He loves Huskies. I know they're good saws, but I was not that impressed. Oh, no. I mean, the first time. So, granted, what we do is different. You know, we are literally.
Did you go to AME? Did you go to AME and get a Husky, or where'd you go?
Up in the valley.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, no free ads.
Yeah. But it's literally like.
I know some guys.
Hey, so this is all I got to say. So
I'm trying to get sponsors, Daniel.
I will.
Chill, dog.
For cutting down trees, not in the river. Huskies are great.
Oh, okay.
Love the Husky.
Yeah. That's like half the blades,
the blade is completely submerged in the water. Like I've had my steel literally in the water,
like sucking water, basically.
Goggles
in the
on.
water. In the water.
Yeah, it needed a snorkel.
Your wrist deep, like
literally in the water.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yes, I had one of my old little 171 steels. I've had that thing 7-8 years. I've never changed the spark plug, and that saw has literally been submerged, cutting down trees. Yeah, and I was never at Emily's level, but I was a firefighter, did wildland. Always been a steel guy. And I was like, I'll try these Huskies. Cut a couple trees, dry land. I'm like, wow, this thing rips. First tree that's submerged, stick half the bar in.
Done.
Uh-oh.
Not certified.
Yeah.
Steels, like I said, that thing's
Just say not certified.
in the water. Still.
Well, I think it's just it's a land critter. It's a land animal.
Land saw.
Yeah, but that's what's so cool. It's like, say it's like you're not like a paying client of Adams and you happen to be also fishing that river. It's like they're going in front of you and like clearing so you don't have to portage all the way around or like, depending on when you go, it's like there's been a few times where we've, probably leapfrogged some of your other clients or whatever and like still had an amazing time. But knowing that they came through earlier, it's like, oh, that's some fresh cut shit that got moved out of the way. And I'm like, thanks, Adam, and it's like, I know who to thank.
Yeah. That's cool. I want to get into the competition of the river. Before that, I want to just say a quick another float accident because our boy Brian, shout out to my boy Brian VOB's knees. So I took him for the first time rafting ever. And all these dudes that fell in, like they never went back. They're like, I'll go back, but on your raft. So we get to this point. He's on his own one-man cataract. I have a few of those, and I was like, I'll show you how to go. And he gets to the spot, and he's like stuck on like this point, and he decides his best option.
Where is this?
Okay, so this is
Upper Huffman.
Got it.
Yeah,
okay.
right. Campbell, Upper Huffman, where they meet.
Okay.
And he gets to this point where there's a Y and there's an island, right? And I'm like, well, you got to choose. We're going right. You know what I'm saying? And he's like drifting to the left, and he's like trying to get to the right, and he misses, and he goes right to the middle of the island, and there's like a tree down, right? And he's like, I don't. He's like stuck there because it's like dead water, and I'm like, well, just like backstroke out of there. And he's like,
So you're yelling at him from another raft that's like right next to him.
Yeah, I'm like right there. So I'm like, well, just backstroking. He decides in his own mind, I'm gonna get out and jump off the side and push the raft, and he doesn't realize this is like
10-foot hole.
This dude just lets go, thinks he's gonna stand up, and just goes bloop. And he's gone, and the raft is still there, dude. I'm like, I'm like, I grabbed the raft, and he's just like, well.
Do you have a life jacket on?
Yeah, he had a life jacket on, but he had he's a big boy kind of, so he just had enough. Like he thought he was gonna like kind of push off the tree, and he just like stepped in and was just like bloop, just right under the front of the raft, and it was gonzo.
Misjudged the turbulence a little bit there.
That's funny.
A lot.
Come on, B.
Yeah, he ain't been in the water since.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's a land creature.
Shall we cheers to the homies that
survived? Oh, we got a little something here.
That survived.
Hey, we got a lot of homies that survived. Listen, we got names for all of them too.
I don't want anything named Brandon's Rock or Corner. All right, or
Brandon's Hole.
Brandon's Sweeper.
Brandon's Sweeper.
If it's Brandon's Hole, it's because I caught the biggest fish out of that fucker my first time. That's the only one I want. That's the only thing I want.
There is a Thompson's Hole in the Kenai. Just saying.
Oh.
Just saying.
Right below Eagle Rock.
And I'm actually pretty sure it was named after my grandpa.
Really? Oh, cool.
If we're being honest, yeah.
Damn, old school.
Where's that? Camel and Upper?
Yep. I mean, it's on the map. Like, you look at it. But.
Okay. Well, I want to get into the willow, a little bit with the willow. And
It's Upper Campbell.
Upper Willow.
Upper Willow, Campbell. I've gone and floated that a few times. I've fished out there a few times, me and my brother. I would say I'm way still learning.
Yeah.
So two-part question. Like, what are some hot tips for the willow? And the other question was, how's the competition as far as guiding and like locals? I felt like we were by ourselves when we went.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, you hit it on a, July 4th holiday weekend. It's going to have a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It's one of the closest fisheries to Anchorage. That's a non-urban environment. But generally compared to some of the other road access fisheries, it receives far less pressure. Part of that, I think, is because that the majority of stuff that we are now fishing for up there is catch and release. And a lot of people in Anchorage and surrounding areas, want salmon to
Harvest.
Want salmon to
So
fill
when the
freezer.
kings pretty much were done, did it like just kind of drop off? And we'll get into the king stuff if we want to, but
Yeah, I would love to touch on the king thing a little bit, just to kind of more raise a little bit of awareness about a couple things that are going on. But as far as sport fishing, catch and release fishing goes, I would rather you have said Upper Campbell, Huffman, because it is.
Well, I know you guide out of Willow, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, to bring business to you and some of the other people that I know that are guiding there, and support to everyone that is doing a business out there. And I know there's competitors and
we for the most part work very well together. There's just so many fishing opportunities on the park's highway river systems, and it's pretty easily accessible. You don't need to have a boat. You can pull off on the side of the highway, hike up, hike down. Phenomenal trout fishing, beautiful Arctic grayling, dollies, and way, way, way less pressure than a lot of the other river systems.
Yep.
It's to me, as far as like road system fisheries go, it's some of the best in the world, man. I mean, especially like this last year alone. Not to bring attention to my system, but it's fucking awesome, man. Like, the average size of trout we were catching last year was stupid. Like, with how rainy last year was, a lot of my guides who were multi-day guides who were out, like we were talking earlier, in the grind, packing up wet tents, dealing with all that, being with clients, 16 hours a day. And then, like, our road system guides were like, oh, I just caught a 10-pound rainbow and I'm back in my home. And, they're just like, fuck you, motherfucker. I mean, it was, last year was just phenomenal. And it really is a unique fishery, the whole park's highway system, because there are so many different river systems that have phenomenal trout fishing. And due to the pink hatchery nightmare, where, pinks are an every year thing, we have as a guide, we have a love and hate relationship with the hatchery pinks, because one, we love them because when we get tourists from the lower 48, I want to catch your salmon. Great.
they got one.
Here you go. Here's your salmon. Yep. They're letting them go. They caught their salmon. They're stoked. We also love them because all their biomass, all their eggs, all their flesh feed.
A lot of food in the water.
A lot of food in the water, Now, we hate them because they're out competing our wild, natural salmon in the salt. So that's a love and hate relationship. But as far as like road system fishery, the whole park's highway system from Little Willow all the way up north to Talkeetna and Byers is just phenomenal fishing. Far less pressure, beautiful fisheries, crystal clear water. I mean, it's
beautiful, and I will attest that it's way less busy than going like south.
Till after this podcast.
I have a comment on that.
Go ahead.
Like, I really appreciate you guys having this conversation and talking about the areas, because Alaskans, we all want to be. Don't talk about where you ice fish. Don't talk about where you river fish. Don't talk about where you moose hunt. Don't talk about where you caribou hunt.
Yeah.
Even though we're all hunting Unit 13.
Yeah.
You know, you're just 17 miles up the highway further, and that's your spot.
Yeah.
It's no secret. It's been there the whole time.
Yeah.
There's goddamn books that say, hey,
100%.
the fishing rating is 1 star to 5 star.
Yeah.
And the dude's not that far off. So you can figure this shit out for yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't take this podcast and you as a guide talking about this.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you just drive your fucking Honda Civic over to Walmart and grab a rod and drive out there and you're going to catch fish.
Yeah.
It's not that fucking easy.
Good point.
Let me remind you that it's buggy as shit. You can hike up and down. I hope you're in shape because it's not easy.
Yeah.
The holes are not that easy to get to.
Yeah.
And there's fucking bears everywhere. So I just want to remind everybody that's listening to this, like, oh my God, yeah, man, they're fucking giving me all the fucking secrets to the honeymoon.
Well, and along with that, I feel I'm very proficient in rafting and fly fishing and all that. And even still, like, however many times that I've been there, I feel like I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say.
It's like what's working and what's, what's biting. It's like if it's a bead or the streamer or whatever.
The point is that I'm trying to make is like respect.
Respect nature. Thank you.
Respect it, man. Like we can tell you exactly what highway and, road access and all this, that, and the other, but you still got to put boots on the ground and do the fucking work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So,
and I will say, like, the best way to do it is to go with a guide. Go with someone that is their water, that is their river. Yep. Go learn, and then if you feel really confident enough to go back and like bring your family along on your own, I mean that's on you. But like you're saying, like be respectful of all the dangers and the things that are come along with that.
I just want to like bring some clarity to anybody that might be listening to this podcast, local, a friend, and a acquaintance that's like, God damn, these guys are talking about all their fucking spots. It's like, okay, look, man, so-and-so goes on a hunting show and he's up in Kodiak, Alaska. He's down in Southeast Alaska. He's in the Brooks Range. He's, okay, like you can go, okay, I know the area, but it's the skill set, the dedication, the preparation, the commitment, the conviction to do the work is really what comes down to it. So you can get any Tom, Dick, and Harry that's going to go drive his car out and go do this thing, but is he actually going to catch fish and actually do all the right things?
Yeah.
Or is he actually going to go and do the work to
learn
learn
there's
how
still
to do
a
the right
learning
things?
process.
That's what exactly. So I have to just remind everybody, to the masses, it's just not so easy as driving your car up to wherever, watershed or drainage, and go. You're going to go catch fish. It's going to take work. It's going to take some misery. It's going to take some shitty experiences.
Type 2 fun.
Yeah, like you might have to actually have a shitty ass experience for a couple of trips.
Yeah.
Before you catch your first grayling, before you catch your first rainbow.
Yeah. And that also too, like,
that weeds people out.
It does, and like especially with those systems up there that have such high water and high snow, like every year we've been on Willow, it's a different river.
Yeah.
Like it changes. Like
don't go on Tuesday the 20th and then fucking Tuesday the 28th next week and you think
so dynamic.
It's going to be the
flood,
same.
They change. Like, I mean, especially this last year, like I was saying with all the rain we've had, like there's new channels.
Yeah.
Like where we used to go down, we can no longer go down, and where there used to be forest and trees is where we are floating. Like they change daily, and if you don't know what you're doing, you're like, oh, this is an easy river, we could just go to. You could be coming around a bend in a new flood channel, and there's
it looks different every year.
Yeah, 6 down trees, and it's so dynamic.
How many times does somebody say, oh man, you should have been here yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh,
like
that's the
this hole was killing it.
Yeah. Well, you should have been here 2 weeks ago. You should have been here a week from now.
Friday night, couldn't keep them off the hook.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I couldn't make it out, but I made it out Sunday morning. Didn't get a fucking bite.
Yeah.
Using the same gear, technique, whatever it was.
So dynamic.
Good luck, bud.
Yep.
It changes all the time.
So dynamic.
So if you think you're just getting out there, you know what I mean? I just wanted to bring a little bit of clarity to, like, hey, man, we can talk about areas, by no means giving up anything honey hole whatsoever.
No, I mean, we highly suggest if you're interested and you've been wanting to do the willow, I mean, hit up one of the guys that are there. That's the best way to go do it. It's not that expensive. Go spend the day with the person. If you got your own raft and all that, like, go do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
and Adam, don't you cheer on a guy that comes to you and he just wants to learn how to fish?
Dude, I was just about to like jump in. Like here in Alaska, like we get so many folks in the military, God bless them, and folks who are new coming up here for work. And like all of us here, we know how Alaska fishing is different. Like I can't tell you how many times I've seen guys and gals on the river. They got the Sims waders on. They know how to cast. And we get to the boat ramp. I'm like, hey, man, how'd you guys do? Like, we didn't catch anything. It's like, well, really? I just had people who've never seen a fly rod before, and we just fucking lit it up. Like, let me see your rods. Let me see your rigs. What are you fishing? And they're fishing, you know, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana setups. They're fishing bugs. And they're not catching shit. And it's like, man, if you would have just come out with a guide for one day, we would show you how to read rig beads, how to rig flesh, how we fish up here, and you would have set yourself up for a far better experience. And myself and my guides were very forthcoming with information. Like, again, we're going back to this double-edged sword. It's like we want to teach folks how to do this because we want them to be out there experiencing this so they can protect it and look after it. And there's so much good fishing. We're not going to be Gollum and like, oh,
there's
this
enough
is my precious.
for all.
You know, there's
enough
plenty
cake for everyone.
You know, and like
everyone can eat cake.
Everyone can eat cake. You can come up here and you can learn this stuff, whether you're visiting for 2 weeks or you just moved here and you're new to fly fishing. Like we are, and most guides are more than happy to teach you and show you to get you into this because it is different. Yes, the roll cast that we do is the same exact roll cast as you do in the lower 48, but what and how we fish is so different. And so many people just don't realize that, and they think, oh, I know how to fish. I can do this.
Well, I'm an example of that. Like when we went, we didn't get nothing the first time.
Yep.
We didn't get nothing the second time.
Yep.
And then we followed some dude and we're like, what's this guy doing? Because he's slaying them. And you watch and you learn. But that's as like a local. But I would say that the best way is to go with someone. Spend the money. They're going to give you the knowledge. And then you do with that what you will.
Like the best way I have to equate it to is like we did, granted it was in Mexico, but like same deal. And it's like, it's going to be a repeat customer. We found this dude. He was a guide. He was amazing. Like shared all his DIY spots with us. So knowing that we were going to go down there and had these handful of days, we booked with him for probably 2 out of 5 days. Kind of scattered them in between, but like did our own DIY in between. And ran into him with paying clients on those other days and was like, hey, Nick. And he's like checking in. How you doing? I was like, I just fucking caught a permit on my own, you know? And it was amazing. And then
he probably has pride in that too.
100%.
He's like, he showed you the
tips.
And then
we fished with him a few days later, and we've fished with him like 3-4 times since. So it's like there is value in paying the professionals, you know, to go with for the day because they're going to educate you. And it's like,
and also a safety thing, especially when you're rafting, especially when you go there.
And in any
dude,
new area.
The pull out is not the easiest thing to figure out over there, dude.
No.
Like,
and that's
I mean,
any
you'd
new
be fucking
area.
in the fucking ocean if you don't figure out where to go out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's important. You know what I'm saying?
There is value in like paying a professional, you know, and I know I get it. Like I'm the same way. I'm stubborn. I like to try and figure shit out on my own too, you know,
Yeah,
but
it feels
it's like
good, right?
It does. But there's also value in like, you know, and it's like put your pride aside. Like this is what they do for a living. Like pay the man, go have a good day, like figure out and learn from them. And then, go do it on your own, you know? And it's like, that's true for, you know, experiencing anything new anywhere. It's like there's something to be said in like struggling through it and figuring it out, which I see a lot of value in too. But also it's like people are also making a living off of this too. And it's like, if you're going to be there, support the people that are doing this in the area. That's how I feel about it.
Yep. Well said.
100%.
Well said.
Like it.
Let's get into the kingfishing thing a little bit because I know that you want to talk about it, and I know that I grew
Hot
up.
topic.
I grew up fishing the willow.
time.
I grew up there in the 80s, the
Kashwena,
90s,
the sheep.
when there was no road. You had to hike in there. You had to do the trek, the muddy Medfest to get in there and try to get your king. And it's so unfortunate where it's gone. So I'm just highly curious on your opinions on what's going on, maybe your hope for the future.
Yeah, man, it's heartbreaking. Like, I was not here in the 80s, but when I moved here 11 years ago, everyone was like, oh, you should have seen it 5 years ago. But at that time, 11, 12 years ago, went out, fished all these mouths, spay casting. It wasn't if you were going to catch a king, it was how many kings you were going to catch. And everyone's like, oh, you should have been here 10 years ago. I was like, dude, I just landed 15, 30-plus pound kings on a spay rod. Like, I don't think there's that much more time in the day to do that. I'm sure.
Catch more, that much more fish,
I'm sure it was more incredible, but, like, I would get done guiding and go to the mouth of Willow in my muck boots. Half hour, throw the spay rod, catch a couple kings. And everyone's like, oh, you should have seen what it was. I'm like, I believe you. But
well, that's a testament of time that people have been saying that forever. Well, you should have seen the 80s. Should have seen the 70s.
Like,
should have seen the 60s.
I just
all
like,
time travel, and yes, I would love to see that.
Like, I have was looking on our social media feed, and just like 7 years ago, again, like I said, in my muck boots, beautiful 35-pound chrome hen in my muck boots after work for half an hour.
Yeah.
And in the short time that I've been here, just the decline that has happened, like, people call up like, hey, I want to go king fishing. I'm like, so do I. I honestly wonder if my daughter will ever be able to catch a wild king in South Central, like Ship Creek. Even the awesome guys from the bait shack last year on Ship Creek said, hey, we're not guiding trips anymore because the hatchery run was so low.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, there was not nearly the return last season.
And this year in South Central, across the majority of the systems, it's already closed.
Yep.
And I am all for commercial fishing. It is a lifestyle. It creates jobs. It creates revenue. It supports local Alaskan families.
It's culture and history.
It is, and it should be a part. But the commercial trawling that is devastating both our salmon fisheries, our crab fisheries, our pollock fisheries is fucking horrifying. 80,000 dead kings were reported by the trawler fleet.
My God.
80 fucking thousand dead kings thrown overboard.
That's just reported.
That's just exactly, all those of us here in Alaska, we know there are people who count, in air quotes, count fish, but so many of it goes undocumented. There are way more effective means of commercial fishing and supporting local Alaskan families like in the Southeast. The trawlers, not the trollers, are local family fishing that target specific fish way more effectively. The commercial trawling fleets would have these massive nets that just drag the bottom and kill everything and just gets thrown overboard. Needs to come to a stop. Bottom line, politics aside, there are better ways to commercially fish, and there are better ways to support local commercial fishermen. I apologize to any local guys who are on trawling fleets, but let's be honest, most of those trawling fleets are from the fucking lower 48. Fuck off, get another job.
Yeah, and from around other countries too.
Yeah.
No, well said. Well said. Every state in the union is fighting for their waters and their what they have going on in their state, whether it be farming or whether it be agriculture, and our thing is fishing. And you have these out of state people. They're feeding their family as well. Understand that.
Yep.
I get it.
Yep.
I get it. But when you see the evidence of what has happened and the inability of whoever's in charge to fix or remediate the issue, and I've said it before on the podcast, like, my son will never get a clam in the Nilchik or Clam Gulch. My son now can't get a king in the Willow. My son may not be able to get a sheep because of this ongoing thing. Like, how many different species and animals does it take to realize that there has to be some sort of change?
Couldn't agree more, man. It's when you see the numbers, and again, like we said, they're not all reported, but the numbers that have come across as bycatch over this one specific type of commercial fishing that has impacted not only personal use fishing like we're talking about, but even commercial seasons where even commercial fishermen were proposing, let's stop doing this. I mean, the writing is right there.
Yep.
But it just comes down to, one, I really think the biggest factor is most people don't know. 100% in the lower 48, people don't know. And even in Alaska, a lot of people don't know. They're like, oh, yeah, commercial fishing's great. It's like, yes, it is. Commercial fishing's great. It supports, that's a part of Alaska.
Yep.
You know, working hard, going out there. You can be not a highly educated person and work hard and make a lot of money commercial fishing. But there's this one sect of commercial fishing that is uber corporations, big time money, and taking away money from people who are doing it the right way, working on mom and pop boats, working it the right way, fishing effectively. But there's just so much money and politics and lobbying going on that this isn't known. Like Salmon State, who helped with, I noticed the stickers there, No Pebble Mine. Like, they've been just pumping stuff out on social media about the trawler bycatch. And it's just falling on deaf ears because no one knows about it. And if I really do think that if the majority of Alaskans, regardless of political beliefs, right, left, middle, who the fuck cares? If you just saw the numbers of the amount of dead fish, whether that be kings, chums, halibut, sockeye, pollock, crab, that are just thrown overboard because of these stupid nets that just fucking kill everything within miles and miles of their radius, I really think it would catch on. But there's so much money on the other side suppressing that knowledge. It's really sad.
It's politics, man. Is what's going in there, which is sad.
Politics and money, man. I really think it's more just
lots of money.
Money.
Do you think it's reversible? Are we too late? Are we on that cusp, that line?
The evidence kind of shows that I think we're getting pretty close.
I mean, it's never too late. I mean, regardless of what the numbers are, it's never too late to, like, make an effort, regardless of, like, how deep we are in it. It's like changes should and can still be made, you know, regardless if you want to say too late or not.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your thought?
The only thing that I can kind of relate to, because personally I'm always an optimist, but just seeing what I've seen, I'm kind of a bit of a Debbie Downer. But one thing that gives me hope is that in the lower Northwest, in Washington, Oregon, Northern California, where they've removed those dams, fish that they thought were no longer there have returned. You know, nature... Jurassic Park.
Nature's resilient.
Nature will find a way.
And like you make a few adjustments, and like it is resilient. And I feel like we barely like are able to like scratch the surface. So
it's not too late.
Never. I don't think it's too late, but I do think we are
on the line,
getting to that line. Just, I mean, I've done a lot of work with Trout Unlimited and Salmon State, and had federal and local fish biologists, and people who are way more educated than me in these things that actually talk about the science behind this stuff, that I don't think it's too late, but I definitely think we are getting close to that line where
gotta start making moves.
We gotta do something, man. Mm-hmm. We just.
What's your thought on introducing, hatcheries to these rivers? No.
So the difference, like I was saying earlier, everyone has their own opinion, to each their own. Hatchery fish are brought up in a concrete pen, and they are fed dog food. They don't have the genes.
Instincts.
There's been a bunch of studies done, like especially in the lower northwest with steelhead, where hatchery fish are interbreeding with wild fish, and the offspring of those fish are less likely to make it to spawning age. There is a lot to be said for genetics, wild genetics. Now, God forbid if we do get to a point where those wild genetics are gone, yes, we should start them over, but we're not to that point yet. There are still enough wild genetics left in our fish that if we managed our sport fishing fisheries, commercial fishing fisheries better, I think we could salvage those wild genetics, because nature will figure it out. We're not at that cutoff point yet, but introducing foreign genetics into natural wild fish, I do not think is a good answer right now. Granted, I am a humble sport fishing, fly fishing guide. I do not have a
wild fish
biology degree, but just from what I've seen from my years of guiding and fishing and seeing hatchery programs in the lower 48, the offspring of hatchery fish do not have the same genetics, strength, survivability, adaptability of wild fish. And if there is a chance for us to preserve those wild genetics, I think we should do everything we can to do it.
I think it's fair to say, too, that a gentleman or a woman or professional fisherman, to some degree, who's got the experience and time seeing fish, touching fish, catching fish, studying fish on real level situation.
Boots on the ground
would have.
Well said.
I just feel like has not just as much, because I don't want to disrespect anybody that's educated with a degree or piece of paper or whatever qualifies them, that you're that much less educated or experienced in the love and passion for a conservation of something and knowing what it is.
Yeah, I think there's value in both, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like what this man is saying is as credible as any science, just because he's been catching the fish and seeing the behaviors,
real time,
seeing the changes,
Yeah. Well, as anyone that has grown up and lived on this river, like you had a cabin on this river and you're on this river every year and you've been there for 20 years, you see the changes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like you can't, some kid or somebody that comes out of college and they did all the science and they can look at the numbers and the map and all that. Like there's a difference between that and like what you see.
What you are actually seeing and experience and what you have seen happen in a relatively finite amount of time is... honestly, granted, I'm not native Alaskan. Sorry, not from Alaska.
Same. Whatever.
Yeah. But just in the 11, 12 years I've been here, what I've seen happen is fucking horrifying.
Yeah, decades of
and
good chunk of time.
To see sport fishing, like we're a very finite group of users on these species, and the finite impact that we have, whether it be harvest or catch and release, and to see it have no real impact on the overall run. But while you see these numbers from these trawl fleets in the bycatches, it's just like, dude, you don't have to be a fucking fish biologist or a rocket scientist to realize they're killing them all in the fucking ocean.
Yeah.
And it's really sad. I mean, I tried running for Board of Fish and was shut down. And other people who are in my similar position who try to make a voice are shut down. And I just really think at the end of the day, it just comes back to these big money corporations and they're just shutting us down, which is really fucked up because I do have some fun numbers right here.
Oh,
So we're talking
facts.
Yeah. So this is a little bit of an older study. Out-of-state visitors spent $98 million, which led to $133 million of economic output. Sport fishing expenditures for the state of AK were $1.4 billion total. 733 of that came from us residents. 652 came from non-residents. 73% of those numbers were right here in South Central. That generated $295 million, generated 3,063 jobs, and $22 million in state and local taxes. These are numbers that we know. And outputs from wrong commercial fishing and ill-suited ideas are putting these jobs and these monies that our state makes to risk. And this was just on a Google search I did before coming on the show.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of fucking money. All from people who want to come here and fish, and those of us who live here and fish.
Yeah, numbers don't lie. I mean, obviously Google's Google, and anybody can criticize or question a number.
That's from ADF&G and AK Economic Trends.
Perfect. So it's like, locals value what we have here.
Of course.
I mean, you see it right there. That I did not know that. I figured that the out-of-state influence outweighed the local influence.
That was from an older study. I mean, honestly, with COVID, I mean, just within my business.
I mean, we're talking between like the mid-'80s to say the mid-2000s.
That was 2016.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
You guys have really bummed me out.
I know this is...
I want to switch gears.
I do want to end on a high note that luckily I got in the game when the Kings were still...
Oh, you got yours?
I can't say that I pulled a 50-pound king one time. And that was a pinnacle of my...
manhood.
I mean,
existence.
if you're an Alaskan, you look for, 30-inch rainbow, which I've never even targeted in my life. Do think I've hooked up on a couple fucking Quartz Creek. And 50-pound king, 50-inch moose,
sure,
whatever. I would say, though, that I want to give anybody and everybody that's putting time and effort into the study of kings credit, because I do think that there are people that want your daughter and my daughters and your son, and
that's the goal.
They do.
The generations that are to come. I don't know about clams, but I do feel like, and to Emily's credit and comment earlier, that I feel like there are people that are working right now really hard day and night to see it turn around.
There are.
And I'm going to stay optimistic. I want to end this on a positive note because,
when
I caught a king, I realized, I was like, wow, that was my unicorn.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's something about catching a big, powerful Chinook that, oh, man, we call it tugback, baby. When you feel a king tugback, it could just be like a 12-pounder and the fucker just spools you. There's just nothing like it. And, man, I want to catch a king one day again.
Me too, man.
Yeah, it's like we got to cheers for the future.
Hey.
Cheers for the future.
Cheers for the future of our
that sounds like a
fishing, hunting, like
fucking non-Debbie Downer, dog.
All the things we love to do.
That's right, man.
Okay. Before we end it.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, that brown water.
It's like it got browner.
You're drinking the good smoky shit.
I do want to say congratulations to Ken Gibson, my buddy, who's going to be going, hopefully, get you up on that.
Ken,
Who won the?
It's already booked.
He's
Ken's
on.
going, dude.
Our buddy Ken
Awesome.
surprisingly won the giveaway we did at the live podcast.
Cool.
So shout out to Ken and the Gibson boys. Hardcore. I'm sure they're going to be just
So stoked to get them out.
Oh, they're going to love it.
Yeah.
They're going to love it.
How many folks go out on that trip?
Which one?
The one that they won. Like how many people?
Is that a
go out on-
2-person?
Yeah, they got 2 people. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all of our trips are private. It's just going to be those 2 boys.
Was that Ken and Roger probably?
Well, we'll see. I have to arm wrestle them.
We're all throwing our name in that to be the +1.
I didn't
It's
want
a
to
giveaway.
say anything, but we are having a leg wrestling competition at the meat party. So good luck.
Yeah. And you win the second chair on the fish hound.
chair.
And the second runner-up gets to go on an elk hunt with me.
Let's Ken. Oh.
I've been doing
Sweet
squats.
16.
I've been doing squats.
If you made
all
the
fucking
final
week.
8, you get a trip.
Yeah, let's do a bracket.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I did squats yesterday.
I want to know about what are maybe some new or really cool gear things that you've seen come out within the last 5 years that's like, man, you should have this on your raft.
Oh,
Jet tip.
Koozies
definitely
off
the
rocks.
koozie
around
the
your neck
is the way to
Knew
go.
it.
That's the pro dirtbag move right there.
Fucking knew it. That's
Honestly,
me.
this is more back to fly fishing, but the innovations in fly lines over the last 5 to 7
Dude,
years
it's gotten like,
is
I'm like,
fucking incredible, man. Like there are multiple manufacturers, Rio, SA, Scientific Anglers, OPST, that just make very well made lines for turning over our heavy flies that just make things easier. You can get someone who's never done it before, roll cast out 25 feet, no problem. And fly lines, that has really been the biggest innovation. As far as rafts go, man.
or just gear in general that comes on the
Calling
raft.
the line though, man.
Oh, fly line, I would, out of everything.
Never would have thought you'd say that.
Yeah, the fly line innovations over
Dude,
the
it's
last
gotten
handful of years.
too like.
No,
you're like,
no,
well, you
I'm
don't
like-
have the monofill on the fucking thing.
No, I'm like,
Blah, blah, blah.
goddamn,
I'm like, what?
I didn't want to get into fly fishing before, but now I'm just like, oh, yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
it's
you guys are getting way too geeked out.
easy, man. Like it just makes it, whether it's two-handed casting, single-handed casting, the new fly lines out they're just phenomenal. I mean, during COVID and the whole supply chain nightmare, everything was fucked, as we all know. And if a rod got broke, it was gone.
Yeah.
I couldn't get fly rods back, and let's be honest, fly rods
shit.
break.
Yeah.
And so I had to go to Walmart, of all places, to get a fly rod because I couldn't find a fly rod anywhere else. And it turns out if you take a $60 fly rod and put a $150 line on it, it casts fucking amazingly. So I would say for folks out there
That's
getting
a
into
awesome
it,
fucking
to spend,
tidbit there.
oh man, fly line, you cast the fly line. You're not casting the rod. The only thing that hits the water is the fly line. And the innovations in fly lines over the last 5 to 7 years versus the prior 20 is infinite. Like rods are still good. Rods are still great. You could spend $100. You could spend $1,000, but put good fly line on that rod, especially for those of us up here in Alaska where you're throwing heavy setups, having a very heavy grained weight line that turns over heavy setups is a must. Mass moves mass. If you got a $1,000 fly rod, but you put $75 shitty fly line on it, it's going to cast like shit. You have a $60 fly rod from Walmart, you put a $150 fly line on it, it's going to cast like a fucking
Crazy.
dream.
Fucking silk.
It also helps.
So it
know
is
how to
the
cast.
hockey stick. It is the stick. It's not the talent.
It's the Indian, not the arrow. But having a good arrow helps.
Gotcha. Now, what I want to see, and I've said this before, and I'm just waiting for someone to fucking do it. I need the life vest that has the 44
Built-in holster.
built-in holster. Why don't they have that? We're on these remote rivers. We're running into the bears, or even the spray holster. They don't have.
Yeah. What type of life jacket are you rocking? Is it a 3 or 5? You don't need to say
It's
brand.
gray.
Yeah, you don't need to say
It's a
brand.
gray one.
I mean, is it?
got- you
zip
got
up?
a-
It's an
got a
NRS.
knife.
I want
You
to
got
say it's
like a
NRS
knife.
zip up.
Yeah.
one, but I'm just curious. Is there one out there that has like the legit, like, dude, this is a business. If you come out with the Alaska one, you could put the spray with the boom and the beer and the everything.
Talk to Diamond D. I mean, I love my Diamond D holster.
But why don't they have like the?
You got a revolver or 10?
I have both. I like my revolver a little more. I mean, I love my 10.
The old Smitty or what?
Man, I actually have the Taurus, the old school Taurus tracker with a ported barrel.
Oh, dude, no, I'm not judging.
Yeah, love that. I do have an S&W and I do have a 10, but I have an Affinity for 1911s, and I have a 1911 10. But man, when you're out guiding.
Go with the old 6-shooter or what?
I love the old 6-shooter, man. That thing has been exactly. That thing has been in the mud. It has been rusted, and that trigger still.
So if I could just throw my 2 cents in, so I've adopted the rip pull.
The little life vest.
Cool.
Yeah, and I did test one.
Isn't that the one that's like if it senses moisture, it?
Yeah, well, you got to replace the
canister
because that little cork has to be able to soak up moisture in a certain amount of time for it to self-inflate or pull inflate. Now, I think I'm, to some degree, going to be honest, I'm taking a chance by wearing that versus a personal flotation device that is all foam, one piece. Like my dead body's floating around. It's like going to float me around no matter what versus I have to make it inflate, right?
Yeah.
Just being real. But I like my setup Mustang because I got my fucking bino harness on, all right? Put my pistol on, so my Diamond D with my Trail Boss 44 is in its holster right below my binos.
Okay.
With my life jacket on. I got all 3 of them bitches on.
Yeah, that's too much shit. Why can't you just have the life vest with all the shit on? But
it's
you have the bino, you have the gun, you have the spray.
We're different sized humans, but my Diamond D, my 44 is right here.
I know that, but I'm talking about the life vest all in one kit.
We get off the boat,
the Alaska,
and we want to go hike around in the woods. I peel off that life jacket, and my main shit's still on.
Yeah, that's why I like the Diamond D.
I hit the trail.
But say you're rowing down like a narrow, like shallow thing of water. Okay,
good point. Floating versus boating are 2 different things, right?
Yeah, well, I'm looking at it like you're doing a multi-day float trip.
You're not out, back in.
Yeah, sure. You can still bring your Diamond D thing to throw it on once you take the thing off. But for like 80% of the time, your life vest should be on.
Yeah, when you're floating for a long period of time.
Yeah.
No,
all right, we're looking at you, people listening, viewers. Let's go.
Or we will.
Sounds awesome. Yeah. It'll only be about $775 MSRP.
So yeah.
In 7 years.
Fully adjustable.
Like we were talking like how you guys got into this and like gear designing is like, because I thought about that too. It's like, but half the stuff we're going to design is going to be like, well, this is for Alaska. There are 775 people who are going to buy this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the world market.
I don't really need this in
Who
New
carries
Mexico.
a gun when they go rafting in Wyoming?
Whatever you want.
Exactly. Wait, you carry a 44 when you're brown trout fishing?
What the fuck?
What do you need that for? That's
Alaska.
That is a good point. But you know what? I want what I want.
Because we know what works. Because we're out there doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Exactly. That's right. I want to say, Adam, thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate you coming through with all your knowledge and your honesty and your ability to just like explain.
Fucking homie brought
what's
numbers,
going on.
dude.
Yeah, he brought the numbers, dude. He brought the book, the
he
spiral.
slammed his hand on his notepad's all folded like it's been wet a couple times and dried out. Like
pen to paper.
Well, I'm working with
old school.
Salmon State, and we're definitely fighting a couple things going on here, like the Ambler Road that we had the show in the valley about, and definitely against the West Sioux Road. And these are just some of the numbers that speak for that.
Yeah, well, and to Daniel's point, man, thanks for your honesty. Because, you know, this platform is awesome because we get to say what we want to say.
Yeah.
And people get to hear it. Not everybody agrees. We get feedback, positive, negative, indifferent,
which we appreciate.
Pro, con, and I mean,
and we will say that we want to reach both sides.
Exactly.
Everyone has a voice.
Yep.
That's the beauty of America.
Yeah,
Everyone
like
has a voice.
You know, we talk about Pebble Mine. We talk about No Road to Ambler in mining. It's like, well, we haven't had anybody call and say, hey, I'm a pro fucking miner. I want to come on your podcast and sit on your seat with your mic and tell my story.
And even if you did,
come on, bud,
yeah.
Come on down.
You're
I
welcome.
mean, this isn't a biased like, well, we just go this one side. I mean, we're here so someone else can tell their side of it. And Adam, to your credit, thank you for your blunt, organic, real fucking honesty, dude.
Yeah, man.
Like, you believe in what you believe in. You're living it. You're raising a family. You get your fingernails painted by a little girl. Daughter. You know, because you're raising a family. Like, hey, I'm just saying this is a platform. This is a spot. This is a space where people can come in, have these conversations, and speak their mind.
No judgment.
No judgment and full freedom. American, like, hey, we're speaking our mind. He might have a different opinion than someone that's listening or that I have.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine.
Cool. And that's what's amazing about this platform is that
we can sit down
to do that
and talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And chew on it, listeners. If you got something to say that's constructive and has some clout, give us some feedback.
Yeah.
Or science. That difference.
I mean, you want to write some shit on a crusty notepad, bring it.
Yep. Exactly.
That shit's gangster, though. I loved it. Slammed your hand on it, like, oh, fucking matter of fact.
This is what we do, no motherfucker.
And as from Alaska Wild Project's like point of view as a platform, like, we're just trying to provide an open microphone to people that want to come and speak their ideas as Alaskans, and we're open to all sides of the aisle. Like, we're not trying to get political on this shit, but like, if you have a different opinion, we're open to have you come on and talk about it.
Love
you know what I'm saying? And let other people make their own mind. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to make your mind up for you. We're just trying to tell you what Adam thinks. We're trying to tell you what Emily thinks, what Brandon thinks, what I think, what Jack thinks, Chad, anyone else that comes on this podcast. And that's what it's about. And you can choose to listen and absorb that and fire back, whether it be on a line or on an email or whatever. And we're happy to engage on that and just get the conversation going, because that's the point. The point is the conversation. Because without the conversation, then nothing happens.
Yep.
So that's our goal.
Lines.
Open discourse.
Yep.
It's a beautiful thing when people can talk and listen to each other. And I think you guys providing this platform for folks of differing sides, being able to talk about it, and not say this is right, this is wrong, but this is what I think is amazing. Good work, you two.
Thank you. Said, brother.
Thank you.
That's exactly what it is.
Emily, great to see your beautiful face.
Oh, thanks.
Appreciate you. Yep, nice earrings. Shout out to Erica, Outdoor Girl.
Erica, hey.
Those are
Word?
nice.
Word. She made them. Yeah.
Nice.
She's gonna bring some goodies to the meat party.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Oh, damn! I didn't notice. Okay.
Take
The leather.
Oh, snap! She took the things off.
Damn.
Not my top.
When the show's over. Thank you, Alaska, for listening. Thank you for supporting us. Write us an Apple review. Go to the website, alaskawildproject.com. Buy a shirt, buy a hoodie, buy whatever you can. Go to Barney's, who's one of our main sponsors, and support them and all they got going on. All our other sponsors out there, support them. These are people that we believe in. These are people that are supporting us. These are our friends. These are our family. So if you're into the show and all that, we appreciate you, and support us by supporting them. And we appreciate you guys listening.
Preach.
Fish Hound Expeditions. Check out Adam. Catch some fish. Have an experience.
Let's go.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. Alaska.
Stay wild.
You remember my speaking to you of what I call your overcautiousness. Are you not overcautious when you assume that you cannot do what the enemy is constantly doing?
The Alaska Wild Project podcast is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Barney's Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. The exclusive home of frontier gear built for the rugged Alaskan terrain. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Visit Barney's today at 906 West Northern Lights.
Arbor Digital, the forefront of digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and wealth management, providing a low-cost, research-based investment strategy for Alaskans looking to invest their hard-earned money. Visit arborcapital.io today to put your money to work.
Tailored Restoration 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Hit them up at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience.
Serrano's Mexican Grill, 2 locations, one on Tudor, one on Northern Lights. The Northern Lights location has their new tequila bar. Check it out. Also see their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
TheTreehouseAK.com, located at 341 Boniface Parkway, Alaska's own and grown cannabis and CBD store. Ask the bud tender what the strain of the day is to get your 10% off. The Treehouse, where the culture lives.
The Connoisseur Lounge, Alaska's premier locally owned and operated cannabis retailer, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. Their cultivated products include Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Super Glue, and much more. Find them at theconnoisseurlounge.net.
AKO Farms, located in Sitka, Alaska, built from the ground up with concentrates as their single motivation, with exclusive products such as their sugar wax, full spectrum diamond sauce carts, and more. Ask your local bud tender about AKO. Marijuana has intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming and addictive. Marijuana impairs concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence. There are health risks associated with consumption of marijuana. For the use of only by adults 21 and older. Keep out of the reach of children, and marijuana should not be used by women who are pregnant or breastfeeding.
The Bait Shack, located on Ship Creek upstream of the bridge. Can't miss the bright red shack. They are the go-to fishing gear rental and guide service on Ship Creek. Tight lines and fish on. Come hook into the action with them. Hit them up at thebaitshackak.com.
Snow Pro AK, your snow and ice management company specializing in business and residential properties. They know what it takes to keep your property presentable and safe. Give them a call for a free estimate at 280-7098 or visit lawnproak.com. Double Shovel Cider Company, located off of Arctic and 58th. Handcrafted Alaskan-made colonial ciders. They also have a tap room downtown on the corner of 5th and E. Stop by today and taste an award-winning cider.
The Alaska chapter of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. BHA is the voice of our Alaskan public lands, waters, and wildlife. Their goal is to uphold our hunting and fishing legacy while keeping our public lands wild. Stand up today and join BHA at backcountryhunters.org.
Should you not claim to be at least his equal in prowess and act upon the claim? I say try. If we never try, we shall never succeed. This proposition is a simple truth, and is too important to be lost sight of for a moment. If we cannot beat the enemy where he now is, we never can. It is all easy if our troops march as well as the enemy, and it is unmanly